thrill. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Nance, and I'm here with David Tuckman. Tonight is Wednesday, and that means it's our big game, $25.50 unrestricted buy-in, no-limit hold'em, one of the biggest cash games around in no-limit terms. It's a $3,000 minimum buy-in, but we won't see many people probably buying in for only $3,000.
Right, it's a real exciting game. I mean, I look forward to this all week.
So, all right, let's get to it. Let's go to the table, and let's introduce the player.
Let's do that. In seat one, we've got it. It's actually, that is Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie in seat
And
one.
Bonnie's a little short there with chips. You wonder if she's getting more or she's just getting into the game, and she's actually getting 5,000 more,
Yeah.
so she'll be in there for about 6,000. There's George Georgian, a Greek poker god. He was out on vacation.
Back from Greece, huh?
Yeah, back from Greece.
Yep.
Visits his family, and he's jumping right into the big game. He's got
Yep.
probably close to 6,000 as well, maybe a little more. Seat three, we've got a familiar face. We've got Vic Park, and Vic's got close to $7,000. Seat four supposedly is Mike,
Okay.
and I'm going to guess that's Corporation Mike, but we'll see. Seat five, we've got Bert Munoz, and just played with Bert just before the game started, just before this started. Pretty solid player. Seat six, we've got Ed Shananana.
Well, that's actually not Ed. That's
Whoa.
that's a Barry.
Yeah, actually, he's playing over Ed. Ed is
Okay.
not here yet.
Okay.
But when Ed gets here, he's playing. It's actually Barry.
Yep.
And Barry's actually a pretty savvy poker player himself. Seat seven, we've got Amir.
The new Amir, capable of making moves. Before he used to just play it straight up. Now he's a mover and a shaker.
Yeah, well, I mean, 3 months ago, I would say Amir would have no chance with a lineup like this against.
Right.
But now Amir does. We'll see how he plays. Seat eight, we've got Mo. And Mo's got that tight shirt going on, man.
Yeah.
He's been hitting the gym. He's trying to show off his muscles, huh? Seat nine, we've got Jonas.
Yep, Jonas, that's Riverboat King on 2+2, for those of you that are familiar. He sometimes posts up in the high limit, no limit area. Of course, if you want to keep the show interactive, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Also, check out a thread started on 2plus2.com. Go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, etc. And Live at the Bike official thread for February 1st, 25.50 no limit. Dave, we're right around the corner for our 1 year anniversary. I think we started the show, was it February 10th last year?
Yep. We popped our cherry about a year ago today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quote Funky Monkey right away off 2+2. I love Wednesdays at Live at the Bike also.
Absolutely. Button's going to move over here to George Georgian in seat two. And this is an interesting mix of a lineup here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. You and I know these players so well. And it should make for an exciting night of poker.
Now, Corporation Mike obviously enters the game. It's going to add another flavor to the game. Very, very loose, aggressive. Sometimes borderline of some people would call reckless, Dave.
Yeah, you wonder, now he's not quite as reckless when he plays up this level, though.
Yeah.
But still, obviously, you can't get that gamble out of him, can he?
Seat 7's limped in here with Queen 9 offsuit. And we're going to see it between the blinds here and Amir. Amir limped in early position with Queen 9. And the flop comes out King 7, 6-7-8 with a couple diamonds. Amir's open-ended.
Vic with the best hand right now, and he's going to bet it.
Yeah, he's got a pair and a straight draw. He's going to bet 175. A little over the size of the pot. And Amir's going to call in position.
Yeah, Amir's got the 9 of diamonds here also.
So here we go to the turn. Turns a queen, and now Amir picks up top pair with his open-ended straight draw.
Yeah, Amir was actually the favorite before the flop, on the flop.
You wonder if Vic puts Amir on a 9 or to be open-ended, if that queen would affect anything, if he's going to keep firing, and he does.
Wow.
He's going to make it 450 to go, and Amir looks pretty short over there. He's just going to call. Might be a case of if he thinks he has the best hand, he doesn't want to scare Vic out of the pot.
Does he have any chips behind him?
Well, here we go to the river. Over $1,000 pot now, and the river is an ace. So let's see what Vic is going to do now. He's going to check. And Amir's going to check right behind him, and he's going to take it down there with the queen.
Yeah.
About $1,000 pot, a little over that, to start off the night. So as you can see, couple limps and a couple bets, quickly the pot's over $1,000
Oh.
at this level.
This game can get huge. I mean, you think about the normal raising. The de facto raise would probably be about $200.
Right.
And if you're going to re-raise somebody, then you're talking suddenly $800.
So here we go. Sounds like we got Corporation Mike at the table. Like I said, it's going to add some flavor to the game. And there he is.
Yeah,
Nice shirt.
You can almost hear your words resonating off his bald head.
Right. Nice shirt.
Yeah, that is a cool shirt. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll give it to me.
Button's going to move over here to seat 3. That's Vic. Vic, of course, very savvy player. He hasn't made a lot of moves recently. It was funny, Dave, you and I were talking to Jonas after the show last week, and he said, this game, especially when there's a lot of businessmen with a lot of money in the game, he says it almost plays similar to a limit game in the fact of there's a lot of showdowns.
Yeah.
It's a showdown game here on Wednesdays.
And do you mind that? I mean, you can really see a lot of flops and get paid off.
3-way action here.
I mean, the important thing is you just got to adapt your style of play to the table you're playing against.
Limped around here.
Yeah, everybody's missed.
Yep, 10, 8, 4, a couple hearts, and everybody misses. Turns a 6. 2 king jacks and an ace 7 of clubs in the hand.
Yeah, Mo's got the best hand here, and he has a draw. He's got a straight draw.
We checked it again, and the river now is a jack. And ace high is
Oh.
no good because a jack comes on the river, and Corporation Mike's going to bet 150. And let's see if Jonas is just going to call, and he does, and they're going to chop this one up.
Chop it up.
There you go. Chopped up, same hand. It's funny, Corporation Mike posted in between, which is allowed here at the Bicycle Casino. And with a hand like King Jack, normally he's actually going to raise if no one else showed any pre-flop strength, but he might be playing a little bit conservatively tonight.
Well, he does. He has a lot of respect for Jonas's game, and you're wondering if how he'll play against him.
Well, the two people that were in the hand were Jonas and Mike, so you might be a little bit scared about post-flop out of position against those two players. Button's going to move over.
I mean,
to
Mike loves to bully around players like Allen and,
Right.
Ed and even, somebody like Barry Woods. Try to bully around, I should say. Kind of a fun day today. I actually got to play No Limit with you.
For a couple of hands,
Yeah, for about 20 minutes,
Right.
which is a rarity.
This one is going to get... Looks like they're going to chop it up, even though...
No, they're not chopping it up.
Seat 5 actually folded, and Amir's going to take it down. This
Yep.
is a pot collection game, which means the way that we do it here at the bike is every half an hour, there's a pot collection pot. Whoever wins that pot pays the collection for the entire table. In this game, I believe it's $13 per half an hour. Now, it's funny, we had an email from somebody last night asking about the profitability of a $100 no-limit game. I think it was in Florida where they charged $9 per half an hour. So there you go.
Yeah, obviously, a game like this, where if you were to win the collection pot, theoretically, it costs you basically $26 an hour to play.
Right.
And obviously, you have to win that shop. You have to win that collection pot to pay it.
Right. Vic Park's got a 3-5 offsuit here, 1 off the cutoff. He's going to bring it in for a raise to 175. Again, we're playing 25-50 blinds.
Buys himself the button there.
Jonas has got queen deuce offsuit. He's not going to get involved. Well, let's take a look at the chips here and describe what each chip represents. The main chip that you're going to see is the white chips, which are $100 chips. Those purple chips are $25 chips.
There we go.
Yellows are 5s, and if you see bigger chips, we have $1,000 chips and light purples of $5,000 chips. Sometimes those players will kind of
Yeah, good chance we'll
sneak
see those
in.
tonight.
Yeah. There you go. Good look
And
at
you can
that.
see a stack like that. That looks like about 20 whites each. Probably over 20 purples on the left.
Yeah. At least 5,000.
Yeah, one stack. There's
There's
$1,000.
1,000 there in the box. Now that is, of course, Barry playing over Ed.
Yes.
Raise here by Corporation Mike. Second position, he's going to bring it in for 175 with King 9 of clubs. Ace rag suited here for Vic. He's going to make the call.
Well, and Bonnie's in there too, and can't quite see her hand. She's got a 10 of hearts.
She's got ace 10 of hearts.
There we go.
Well, Mike's hit top pair. He's hit top 2 pair. Bonnie's going to check. Vic checks. And you know what? Mike's going to bet. And I
There you go.
love the
Love
thing
it.
that drives me crazy about Mike's game is when he checks his big hands.
Right.
Just doesn't make any sense. And he's going to take it down there.
And sometimes, players will go, well, wait a second, though. Why shouldn't I slow play that? Let somebody catch something so I can make some money up the hand. You know what? you have to. The reason you want to bet there all is because he's bluffing so often.
He's bluffing so often, and a player like Vic, he might check raise there with pocket sixes or ace four.
Exactly.
You never know.
Your opponents are expecting you to bet, so you almost want to, give them that.
Give
Let
them
bet.
the opportunity to possibly check raise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They might make a play on it. You never know. Thank you. I'm
If that's your style.
eating my
obviously.
words here.
Yeah.
If you're going to play it fast and raise with garbage and keep raising and keep betting and bluffing, hey, bet your made hands also.
Pocket jacks over there for Amir. Seat 7. He's going to make it 200 to go here.
And that looks like the.
He's going to take it down there.
That kind of looks like the normal raise, 175, 200.
Yep. It's interesting, we didn't have it up there, but Bert, he folded his hand, limped in with 6-5 of diamonds, open limp there, mid-position, and then he didn't get involved with it out of position.
Right. Well, 6-5 of diamonds is a nice hand to play in no limit. I don't mind that hand there.
I stay away from it in early position. I might not even bring the pot in for a limp if it's folded around to me. I'm probably going to raise or fold with it. Now, he was in mid-position, so it's an in-betweener.
I mean, it's a hand that obviously has some implied odds in a game like this.
Live straddle here by Mike, which means it's going to be $100 to call pre-flop. He's going to have the option when it comes back around to him. And he has Jack Rag suited.
Yeah, nobody's really got much of anything, and this might just get limped around. We'll see.
Oftentimes you'll see players, when Mike is straddling, limp in with big hands because Mike is usually going to raise it out of the straddle spot at least 40 to 50% of the time.
And it looks like he's thinking about it here.
No, Vic's going to beat him to it.
Wow, and Vic, you know what, it's funny, we haven't seen Vic kind of play out of the box for probably a month or so, and tonight we've seen 2 times in a row.
He's going to make it 400 to go with 8-6 of spades. Now, Amir's got King 5 suited over here. He has position on Vic, but he's not going to get involved.
King 5 suited is a pretty vulnerable hand.
Interesting, the players kind of feeling each other out. We haven't really seen we haven't even seen a turn yet, have we?
No.
No.
And that's $300 there that Vic just takes away.
Right.
Pretty impressive.
Button's going to move over here to C2. All right, here we go with the chip count. Look at George Georgian covering the table with $8,000. So this is going to be our reference point for who's up and down through the night.
Obviously, chip counts make a big difference in no limit hold'em.
Bonnie has bought in for 5,000. She's bought in for 100 times the big blind. And, normally that's adequate in the game. We usually play, Dave, the 5, 10, 1,000, sometimes 1,000 to 1,500.
I would say that I would actually buy in this game at 5,000.
Yeah. Seat 9, Jonas is going to make it 250 to go. He's got King 9 of clubs, and Bonnie's going to call with King 10 off suit. Vic's got King 9. He folds. And Corporation Mike has got pocket 3. So I'm going to say, most likely, Corporation Mike's going to have the best hand after this flop. But he's out of position. Let's see what happens. Here we go. And he hits a set of 3s.
Yeah, I think your guess there is probably right.
But no one really has anything. It's a $750 pot, and Jonas is going to make the continuation bet here. He's going to bet 600 here. Bonnie quickly gets away from it. And let's see how Mike's going to play it.
Now, you know what? Yeah, and I like the play here. He almost just called. You almost want to raise Jonas and give Jonas the chance to make another play back at him.
Or maybe Jonas calls and thinks he can outplay Mike later on in position, later on the turn of the river.
Exactly.
And that's what Jonas is thinking about right now, and he is in big trouble if he's going to make this call and thinks he's going to outplay Mike later on.
Well, the question is that Jonas is thinking, is this guy just making a play? Yeah, and he's going to give up on it. He obviously has nothing. He only has king high there. But you have to wonder now, would Mike raise with a set? Jonas might be thinking, there's no way this guy's got a set. He probably just has some weak jack or something.
Well, the other thing that you have to consider as well is Mike ever going to lay down top pair good kicker, maybe queen high kicker or better? You think you're going to outplay him later on? I mean, you guys are semi-deep. You got 8,000 in front of each other. But Mike, one of the leaks in his game is he calls down with those hands. So if I have nothing, I'm probably not going to try to outplay a guy and get him off of a legitimate hand like Corporation Mike. Button's going to move over here to C3.
Exactly. You don't really want to make plays against guys like, Barry Woods, as much as I love the guy, I don't need to make a play against him. I'm going to wait till I get made hands, then I'm going to bet him.
We had a raise here by Jonas. He made it 250 to go. He's got Jack 10 of spades.
Knowing your opponents is key in no limit hold'em, folks.
George Georgian's called in the blind here, I believe, with pocket 6s.
Actually, no, he's in the cutoff seat.
Oh, he's in the cutoff seat. Okay.
Yeah, he's got position on him.
Well, ace-7 deuce. See if Jonas makes the continuation bet. We are heads up here. Jonas checks. And George's going to bet. He's going to bet 500. He's going to bet the pot here. Again, the flop is ace, 5 deuce, couple hearts.
Nice
and
play
Jonas
by,
folds.
yeah, really nice play by George there.
What's up with Hobby, man? I texted him 2 dealers.
It was interesting that Jonas didn't bet that flop.
Well, you know, he might be playing the player. He might have thought George is only going to call him with a pretty big hand.
Well, if you bet there, you wonder, though, would George call?
Well, I don't think he can.
Right.
There's any chance I don't think any chance he can.
Yeah.
Nice play by George, though. Oftentimes people say, hey, I'm only calling to hit my set, but if you're in position, obviously you can also use that position and take the pot away.
Button's going to move over to Corporation Mike here.
No, because you would definitely have said something.
No, it was definitely a
Every
reply.
second. You would definitely wanted to reply.
And this looks like it's limped around here. And it's actually heads up between the blinds here. Small blind's got Jack 10. He completed. Big blind, we can see one card, the 7 of clubs in seat 6. 6, 7 of clubs, we got it.
Yeah, well, Bert's got top pair here.
And he's going to throw a little bet out here, and he's going to take it down. It's
Now, Barry
interesting
plays a lot of big games. I've played a lot of limit hold'em with him. I've never played no limit with him, but I've seen him in a lot of big games. I mean, he'll even play in Yoshi's game as well.
Button moves over here to Bert in seat 5. So you played with Bert. I was actually stuck in a 30-60 game, and then moved into a short-handed game after you left the table.
Right.
And again, you know, you and I are really doing pretty well there in those live games.
The live no limit
Yeah,
games?
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I sat down and made a quick $1,800 in about 45 minutes in that game.
man, that's a pretty good hourly
Yeah,
rate.
yeah.
That's better than Super Mario Square.
Seat 4 is going to raise it up to 200 here.
The King Queen. And is Amir going to get involved with Ace Jack? And he is. And Amir is in the big blind with Ace Jack offsuit. Against most players, I think it's an easy fold, but against Mike, you might think you're ahead.
Well, he's hit top pair, but Mike's got overs and a gut shot. And he goes check, check here. Turns a club. No one has a club. And now Amir's going to bet 300. Now, again, a lot of times Mike will check the flop when he's flopped a monster. Funny thing there is that, you know, I might play it a little bit weak. I actually might have just check called there with Ace Jack to see what Mike would have done there.
Right.
I mean, you throw a bet out there and Mike raises you. Well, obviously you're going to, you know, make your physical reads. But we know, especially the way he's been playing the last couple weeks, that if he checked the flop, Ace Jack might not even be good there.
Right.
You know, it's just...
Well, might you throw some money out there on the turn and at least find out? Because you certainly don't want a fourth club to come out there. Let a
That
fourth
is-
club and then lose the money.
That is definitely true. But you could check again to induce a bluff. I guarantee you Mike's not going to let you go 2 streets without betting.
No,
Any
yeah,
position.
he probably would.
Yeah.
Then you're in a tough spot if he bets. Then you're almost forced to check raise, and you got more money in terms of pot control. In a pot like that, then you're check raising more money. And if Mike comes over the top, then what do you do? You almost got to lay it down.
We got a raise here by Bonnie. She's
lot of-
got Queen Jack offsuit. Seat 5 is going to call with Queen Jack offsuit.
A lot of Broadway out there. We see a Jack 10. I see a King.
So we are going to see 4-way action here. Seat 8 is in the hand. We can see one card. It's got a king. Ace King. And the flop misses everybody.
Well, it's not a surprise. I mean, you look at these cards. No surprise the flop comes out 6 high.
Pot's about $600 here. Let's see if Bonnie makes a continuation bet. She does. She bets 200, kind of weak. You wonder if Mo, who's got good instincts, is going to sense that. He's going to call.
I played today, man.
And here we go to the turn. Turns a king, and Mo's got top pair now. He checks, and Bonnie's going to bet again. She's going to bet 400 here. Now, if you're Mo, do you just call here, or are you going to raise? He's going to pop it up.
Yeah, he's going to pop it up right here.
Maybe he hopes that she has a king or something like pocket queens. He's going to make it 800 more to go.
Now, the thing I was wondering is, the king kind of ruined what I was going to say. I was curious if Mo sensed her weakness and if Mo was going to make that move no matter what comes out.
Yeah.
The holes don't carry, though. If you tie.
Mo's going to take it down there.
I mean, because you wonder, she bet 200 into about a $600 pot, right? If she had made, say, a $500 pot bet on the flop, does she take it down? Does Mo take one off of these games? Or does he put her on pocket 9s or pocket 8s or pocket 10s and just get away from it?
First email of the night here from Tracy. Hi, Dave and Bart. I love the show, and I wanted to tell you thanks for advertising poker pads because I bought one for my boyfriend for Valentine's Day, and I decided to give it to him early. He loves it so much. Of course, you can click on poker pads on the right-hand side of your screen at liveatthebike.com. Check it out. It's a nice little gift for poker online players.
It's a great gift.
It's like a little mini poker table, but it's a mouse pad.
You know, it's funny. Somebody was asking me, what do guys want for Valentine's Day? And in the end, you know, just get something for them that, or your girl, makes them feel like you know what they like.
Barry's raised it here to 250, and Jonas is going to call on the big blind with pocket deuces. $500 heads up. Barry's got position on Jonas. Here we go to the flop. Oh, nice flop for Jonas, especially to bet into after you've raised pre-flop. He's got a club draw. But Jonas is going to come out and bet. He's going to bet 300, little feeler bet. Now, if you're Jonas, a couple ways to play it. I mean, Barry, could you just call here? Oh, excuse me, Barry's got pocket deuces. I had it the other way around.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Jonas bet into the clubs, and Barry folded.
And one of the coolest gifts I ever got, actually, for my birthday, my wife got me, and at this time we were just dating. She got me a pair of hockey skates, and I thought that was just so cool, you know. One of my best friends actually got a whole set of poker chips for his birthday, and I gotta tell you, that's a cool gift. I want a poker pad. What are you giving me for Valentine's Day?
An Ernie doll.
An Ernie doll?
Yeah. Button's going to move over here to seat
I
8.
thought I was Bert.
I'm Bert. Bart,
You're
Bert,
Bert?
same
Okay,
thing.
I got you. Easy enough.
Pocket jacks over here for Jonas in the small blind. Ace jack for Amir in seat 7. Limp here by Corporation Mike. 8-9 offsuit. King 4 suited's going to limp. And Amir's going to raise with ace jack. Thin that field out a little bit with ace jack. He's going to make it 300 to go. And Jonas is just going to call in the small blind. He might figure the raise is big enough where it might knock everybody else out. But Mike's going to call with 8-9.
Well, jacks are tough to play out of position sometimes, and if you re-raise there and then you get re-popped, then what do you do with your jacks?
Heads up here, $1,000 pot. Three-way action. $1,000 pot. See how Jonas is going to play it.
Well, he's got the best hand, but how does he know that?
He checks, Mike checks, and Amir checks. Turns a third spade. Jonas checks again. And now Mike's going to bet.
Yeah, he can't resist.
He's going to bet 800, a little under the size of the pot.
Nice healthy bet, though. It's tough to put him on a bluff, though, because you wonder if Mike was going to check his queen to check raise Amir.
See what Jonas is going to do. He's got the jack of spades in his hand. He's going to make the call, and the pot is about $2,600.
Mike's drawing dead, by the way.
River's a 6. Now anyone with a 4 would have a straight. Jonas checks, and Mike's going to bluff at it. He's going to bet, looks like $1,600.
Well, it's a nice healthy bet.
$1,600 into a $1,700 pot. Actually, a $2,600 pot. Pot's now $4,300, $1,600 for Jonas to call.
He's getting about, what, two and a half to 1 on his money? And look at Mike there. Certainly doesn't want the call.
Where if you're looking at pot odds, do you think he could bluff more than 1 out of 2.5 times? And maybe the answer is yes to that.
Now you wonder. I mean, you've induced this bluff by checking twice. And Mike is certainly capable of doing it, but it's a nice hefty bet by Mike. I mean, I got to give Mike credit. It's not like you put a little pansy $600 bet on the river.
But Jonas is going to make the call. And there it is. He's going to take it down. Now, part of the dilemma for Jonas there on the turn, you know, Mike could easily be betting a pair and a straight draw or something like that with a 4 in it. Now, you know, somebody might come out and say, well, he called a big raise in early position pre-flop after just limping. He could easily have a 4 in his hand.
He could have spades in his hands. He
Yeah.
could have anything, because who knows? Remember, he checked the flop, and everybody else checked. He could have anything.
Right.
Now you got to figure he's betting a lot of money on the river. He's probably got more than a queen at least.
So Jonas takes down a pot that's, geez, about $5,800.
I mean, you got to think of a hand that Mike might have that he would actually bet on the river. That is beating my jacks.
Limped around here. Vic limped in early position with ace queen in seat 3. Flop comes out jack 7-9 with a couple of spades.
Ooh, wow! And seat 2 has flopped the nuts. George has flopped the nuts.
And look at this. Seat 1's going to come on and bet with top pair. She bets 400, and George is going to immediately raise with 2 spades on board. Bonnie's bet with jack 6. George raises.
Wow, that's a big raise too.
He's not even going to fool around.
No. Vic is so sure that it's going to get folded around. He's already put his big blind out there.
Well, again, Bonnie's new to this game. You wonder, she probably doesn't know the players here at the table.
Yeah, but at this point though, she's got top pair with a 6 kicker.
She folds. George does not show. And George is going to take it down there.
Nice play by George.
Now, it's interesting, with Jack 6, not to give away some of my hands or some of the way that I play, I might just check that from up front and see what happens.
Check and fold.
Yeah. 7-9 Jack, really, really connected.
Yeah, and maybe if somebody on the button takes a shot at it and you think they're stealing, you can raise them.
Right.
You might not. You might want to just, let it go and pick your spots, though.
Even if you raise them and they call, Dave, what are you looking for on the turn that's going to save your hand? Offsuit 6? I mean, sometimes you might not even be comfortable with the Jack necessarily.
Yeah, obviously you got to be comfortable with who you're playing against.
Yeah.
I think you can outplay them.
Corporation Mike is straddling once again, and Barry's going to bring it in for 300, so 3 times the straddle spot with the ace-10 offsuit in seat 6.
I just somebody paid $1,600 to find out what the loan that well.
Now Vic has got pocket 7s, and he's in the big blind. And he's going to make the call. And we're going to see it heads up here.
Yeah, Barry's a pretty aggressive player. I mean, he is at least in limit hold'em.
$700 pot.
Well, he's outflopped Vic.
Yeah, Jack 10-4. Now, how is Vic going to play this one? Could you put the guy in high cards here? He's going to come out and bet. He bet 600. And Barry's going to call. This is an interesting hand, Dave. And here we go to the turn. The turn's a 9, and now Vic picks up a straight draw.
Yes.
Pot's about $1,900.
Really puts Vic in a tough spot.
And it goes check, check, and the river's a 3.
I imagine they'll probably go check, check here, too. Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
Now, why I said that was an interesting flop and why it's so difficult to play pocket 7s in that particular board is if the guy does have high cards, well, then he probably has overcards and a straight draw.
Right.
And he's just going to fold king, queen, or ace, king on the flop if you throw a little bet out there?
Well, that's the problem with betting 7s in a flop like that.
Right.
You have no idea where you're at. Does my opponent have queens, kings, aces? Does he have ace-king? Does he have king-queen?
Right.
Does he have a jack? You don't know because he almost always will call with those overcards.
I mean, he's almost always going to call with the hand that he's representing pre-flop. And in this case, he hit the hand anyways.
Right. And the only way you get him off it is pretty much if he has 8s. You get him off 8s.
00.
And I don't know if Barry's the type of player to say raise with ace rag
Right.
from up front, but tough spot there for 7s.
Well, that's why oftentimes when you're betting in with less than a premium hand or you're bluffing into a flop, you don't want to bet into a flop that has a draw because it's hard to determine what your opponent has.
3-way action here, and Jonas has hit top pair, but Barry's got middle set, and he's going to check it. And it's going to go over to Jonas. He's got top pair, queen 10. He's going to bet.
150.
He bets the pot. Let's see how Barry's going to play this.
I'd be really surprised if Jonas gets really stuck on this one.
He's going to check call here. Well, how about if a 10 comes out? Turns a 4. Now, this is a draw-heavy board. Does Jonas want to control the pot size here, or does he want to bet the guy off of a possible draw? He's going to bet again.
Yeah, he puts another little weak bet in there. Not weak, but smallish.
400. Pot's about 850 now, 400 to call. And Barry continues to play it slow.
Yeah,
What is he going to do? Just bet the river? A lot of scary cards could come.
How about that one?
Oh, and the river's a 10, but Barry's filled up, but Jonas has made trips. It is a third spade, though.
Now let me ask you this. Might you overbet your full house here?
He checks it. Barry's checked the river here. The pot's about 1,200.
Wow, and let's see if Jonas sniffs this one out.
And he's going to check right behind him. What a great check by Jonas. Smelled something up there.
Yeah, he did.
Wow. I mean, sometimes that's the problem, even, with betting with 7s there. I mean, especially if Jonas had something else, like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, or some other pair. Is he really going to bet the river?
Yeah, I was really surprised by the river by him not betting that.
Right.
I mean, you'd almost hope that Jonas was betting a flush draw or betting a 10.
Right.
And why not put a nice value bet in there in the river?
Yeah.
I mean, you wonder if Barry puts in there, say, $1,000 bet or $1,200 bet.
It was everything you could do not to do
It would be one hell of a laydown here by
That's
Jonas.
what I'm saying. I mean,
if he made the
does
call.
Jonas lay that down with trip 10s and a queen kicker?
Thank you for that little picture on 2+2, Chester. Joseph?
That's sick. Really is sick. Jonas's instincts right on, though.
It looks like Barry Woods shouted online, call, talking about Jonas's hand with the jacks earlier.
Like it's only taking 10 now.
Limp, limp.
Well, you know Barry would have called the jacks.
Oh, God.
Thanks, bud.
A lot of limpers in this
Yeah,
one.
limped around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways.
That's $300.
Barry's got pocket tens. He just limped in. And he's hit top set here again. Now it's all clubs, and no one has a club.
Yeah,
Actually, seat 5's got jack 5 of clubs.
400.
Right, the 5 being a club there, but
Yep. He's going to bet 400 here with top set.
and he's probably going to take this down right here, I imagine. And he is.
And if we can hear Jonas in the background here, he's talking about his strategy for why he didn't bet the river. He said he probably couldn't get called by a hand that was necessarily not going to beat him. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Big one.
Buttons over there in seat number 4. Corporation Mike.
And the 10 of spades obviously gave him trips, but it didn't really improve his hand.
Well, when did he change it from?
The only way it would improve his hand is, let's say, Barry was slow playing 2 pair the whole way.
Owe me $10. I put the first $10 there.
They owe you.
Now you thought it's $10. They gave me $5 back.
Right.
But obviously being the 3rd spade out there, that's one more hand
Yeah,
that
that's it. I put the first
Jonas could not beat. Bunch of ace rags out here. And Barry's going to make it
You have a solution.
$200 to go with ace 5 of hearts.
Out of the big blind. A little bit of a pot sweetener. Again, sometimes I'm confused about why you want to sweeten the pot with ace 5 of hearts out of position.
Yeah.
Here we go. King 9-8. Now what do you do? He's going to check.
Yeah, he's pretty much given up there, I think. Let's see if Vic takes a shot at it.
Well, it's an $800 pot, and he's going to bet 600, and that's probably going to be enough.
Yeah. The power of position. Some people can say, well, how do you call a $200 range with 4 or 5 of diamonds? In position, you don't necessarily need to hit your flop.
Oh, those are beautiful cards to call with.
Yeah.
In position.
Remember, not only are you hoping to hit your hands, but as long as your opponents miss, you might be able to take it away.
Email here from Steinar Ashem. Says, greetings from Norway. I have a little trouble finding good playing cards to buy. Can you perhaps suggest some? Well, the funny thing about that is that bicycle cards that are sold in the stores, obviously no affiliation with the Bicycle Casino, boy, those cards are absolute garbage. You ever tried to play poker with
Yeah,
those
no,
cards?
they're really bad.
Yeah.
If you really want to get good cards, probably the best way to go them is if you go online.
Yeah.
I would imagine you go to, let's say,
Some
we
sort
don't
of
sell
poker supply company.
Yeah, we don't sell them at liveatthebike.com, but you could probably get them if you go cardplayer.com. Probably go somewhere like that. And you just have to ask for casino grade cards.
Look at this. Barry's got pocket jacks in the small blind, limp in by the cutoff, and he does not raise. He just calls. He's got an overpair to the board now, 9-9-7.
Should have taken my 9s more.
Yeah, Mike had limped in. Now, this is part of Mike's game. I don't know. Why would you be the first person in the pot and limp in with deuce 3 of clubs?
And he does not bet the flop. Barry checked the overpair. The turn's a 6,
200.
and now Barry's going to bet 200. So Barry's playing it really slow and cagey tonight.
Nice hair.
What's funny, though, he raises with ace 5, though, and Amir is going to take a shot at this. He
Wow,
thinks Barry.
Amir's going to raise. He's
They-
going to make it up to 800, and Barry's going to call. Well, you
Yeah.
don't know if the guy has a 9 or something, and the river's a 3.
Would Amir check a 9 on the flop? He might.
Well, it's checked over to Amir. Pot's about 2,000. He just gives up here on the river.
Checks up.
Yeah, Amir took a shot at it.
It's a dangerous spot to be put in if you're Barry.
Well, you wonder there if Barry checks that, and Amir throws in, say, pot size bet, which would be about $2,000, $1,600. Can Barry call? Really puts him to the test. Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. It's our big game. Blinds are 25 and 50. Unrestricted buy-in game. We've probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 or 60 grand on the table right now.
Pocket kings here for Bert. He's played it pretty solid all night. And we're going to see a raise here by Bonnie to 250 with king-queen offsuit. And Bert is going to re-raise with his Cowboys.
Raise it up.
Raise it 500 more.
Going to make it 500 more, and this should probably be a pretty easy fold. The mini raise, king queen out of position, but she's going to make the call.
Wow.
And she is in big trouble
And
here.
he made it 500 more, so the pot's already 1,500.
Yeah, it wasn't even a mini re-raise. 9 deuce 6. She checks.
I mean, I can't believe she called that. $500 more. Wow.
1,000.
Bert's going to bet 1,000, and Bonnie folds.
I mean, and she's lucky she missed the flop.
I was going to say, if a queen came out, she could get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she got off cheap there.
Well, again, oftentimes people, I'm not really familiar if Bonnie's played a lot of no-limit hold'em cash games. Hey, look, there's a look at Mike's mother, Trish, there in the background. Again, polar opposite player from Mike. Well-disciplined, patient.
He's gonna come another.
King, queen offsuit, Dave, early position is just not the type of hand that you want to take, you know, to a re-raise.
Out of position? Of course not. No way.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have dinner with
Especially against the guy who's only played one hand the whole night.
Right.
He's gonna we're
I mean,
with him, but
you know you're either, if you're not dominated, you know that at best, I mean, at worst, he's got maybe pocket tens or pocket jacks. At worst.
other side.
Amir has made a raise here to 150 with King Jack. Mo's call with King Jack in the small blind. We're going to see four-way action here. $600 pot. Missed everyone. Bonnie actually has the best hand right now with ace high. Turns a queen. See if Mo takes a shot at it now with the jack of hearts. Well, he's in the small blind, so Amir does not take a shot at it, and it's checked around again. And the river's the 8 of hearts. Mo's got the only heart, but he checked it from up front.
No flush.
And Mo is just going to take this one down here with the jack of hearts.
Flush. Go ahead.
There you go.
No, there you go. Button is in seat 8. That's Mo. Seat 9, Jonas is taking a break.
George, big one. You're the small.
You know, it's almost comical, Dave.
Comical.
If people are familiar with the casino, when some of the limit props see us play no limit and they don't have a clue about the game, and they're
Oh,
just
my.
so clueless.
Did
It's
anything happen, by the
amazing.
way? And Bart is referring, there's a limit prop that was playing actually in the game with
Right.
me and Bart just before the webcast started.
Yeah.
Option, George.
And it was very obvious she was a limit player.
Five players.
Five-way action here. Bert limped in mid-position with ace jack of hearts, so he's playing it pretty tight. Queen 8-5 rainbow. Vic's got middle pair. George has got a straight draw. But you know, it's funny. Bert's going to come out and bet now.
350.
If you play a big hand slow pre-flop, well, maybe he's going to use his image here.
Take it down.
He was
right?
one off the button.
I don't think George can call, and you wonder if Vic can call with second pair here. When you're not in there with 10-8 of clubs to hit that flop.
What I was going to say is oftentimes we see a player play a pretty premium hand pre-flop slow, like an ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack. And then when the flop comes nothing, they bet into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the bet as much as a call.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Vic had bet that. And that was an interesting shot there.
I think that was
Thank
Eugene
you very
from,
much.
A couple nights. Yeah, last
That
night.
was Eugene.
Eugene.
Anybody familiar with the show from
Right.
last night's show? Eugene lost about $1,200 last night. But he's back in it today.
What a run that guy in C5 had last night, huh?
But how many times have we seen that where somebody will limp in with ace-king, miss the flop completely, somebody else bets and shows strength, and they call off their money, which is obviously worse than betting.
Mo's going to bring this one in for a little raise. Mike is straddling. Mo's going to bring it in for 400 with Jack 10 of clubs, so making it 4 times the straddle. Now Jonas is posted behind. He's got Jack 9 of spades.
9-8 suited.
He's not going to get involved.
9-8 suited. 69. You like 69?
And Mo is going to take it down.
Yeah, he does.
People that are new to the show, Mo has a lot of respect on the table. People don't necessarily want to mix it up with him.
Well, that's one of the things with No Limit Hold'em. When I sit down at a table, the first thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for the players that I want to mix it up with. If I don't find any, I get up.
Yeah.
But if I sit down at this table and I go, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to mess around with Jonas in seat 9. I don't necessarily want to, give action to Mo in seat 8. Okay, so now I'm going to start looking for my targets.
Right.
Straddle. I'll try that again. The question is, why did I post?
Button's moved over here to seat 2. George Georgian. And again, George Georgian's probably going to play the tightest on the table. That's his style.
I saw that. It is good candy.
Well, they are the fresh maker.
Commercials are great too.
Limped around here.
I go there myself too.
So I'd love to hear, I want to hear what the limit prop did after I left the game.
5-way action. Ace, queen, ace.
And misses everybody. Mike still has the best hand here, 2 pair. Aces and deuces with a queen kicker.
Don't check these ones.
Button is in seat 2.
It's going to get checked around. Turns a queen, and now Vic has the best hand with king high.
And you know what? I bet you Vic thinks he has the best hands.
Well, he's going to check it from up front.
Well, he doesn't have to bet it. He probably thinks he has the best hands. Obviously, Mike's got garbage now.
George does not bet, and the river here is a 9.
And that changes nothing. I mean, everybody else actually was almost drawing dead. I mean, Mike was the only player who could actually catch something, and that was a deuce.
Well, Barry's going to put a little bet out here. He's going to bet 300, and you wonder if Vic's going to call with a king.
I
here.
think Vic's definitely going to call this. I don't see how Vic can possibly
No,
let
he
it.
folds.
Wow.
I would have made a big hand, Mike.
I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, if you look at the board there, the way it is, it was such a high 2 pair. Everybody was almost drawing dead. I mean, obviously, a 6 or 7 on the river do nothing. I'm shocked that Vic just check, and folded. I mean, what do you put him on? I mean, he's got to have specifically an ace or queen, because a 9 does nothing.
Right.
He's got to have specifically an ace or a queen or pocket kings.
Yeah, those are the only 3 combinations that
I
can
mean,
beat your king.
There's no straight. I mean, he's almost got like the 4th or 5th nut hands.
Raise it.
Now, Bert's got ace-king suited in the big blind. He got limped around, and he's going to pop it up. He's going to make it 300 to go.
Well, we've seen Bert. He's only been aggressive 2 times so far, once with kings and once with ace-king.
Now, Amir's going to call with king 10 of hearts. He's dominated.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to the player you're playing against here.
$800 pot, heads up. Here we go. Queen 9-9 with a couple spades. And Bert's going to make it no, he's going to check.
Well, heads up, he checks, surprisingly.
And Amir checks right behind him. The turn's an 8. He
Let's
checks
see-
again, and Amir checks again.
Let's see if Amir takes a shot at it on the river.
River's a 4.
Show.
And it's just going to get checked down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind a check, obviously, by Bert on the turn and the river, as long as he knows that he's got to call. He's got
He's got to call some sort of bet on the river,
If
right?
he's inducing the bluff,
Yeah.
and ace-king is probably going to be the best hands. But I can't get over that. I'm really shocked that Vic laid that down. I mean, I know it seemed like such a no-brainer, like, oh, he's only got king. Come on, he's got no pair.
Right.
Man,
Why not? I'm going to open the game right now. They are coming. I'll put on another side.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4, Corporation Mike. Limp here. Pocket 10's over here for George Georgian. Let's see if he's going to raise. He does.
250.
He's going to make it 250 to go. Now, Jonas has got 6-7 of clubs, a little suited connector. He's out of position against George. Barry's going to call with ace-6 offsuit.
and Jonas is definitely going to call this now.
Yeah,
With
now
all these
Jonas
callers.
is going to. Amir calls with jack-rack suited. Wow. I mean, are they paying attention to who's making that raise?
Well, who cares who make the raise? Jack 3 suited. What are you trying to hit?
Jonas calls.
4 players.
4-way action, $1,000 pot. George, the pre-flop raiser. Here we go.
It does. It's not working.
Wow, look at that. Ace-6-3. Barry played ace-rag, and he's hit top 2 pair, and he's checked it.
Yeah, well, he's not going to make any money on this hand, really. I mean, he shouldn't.
Well, don't you think George's going to fire in here? Well, how about Jonas? He's going to bet on his 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if Jonas would actually. Once you get 3 callers and the ace comes, you almost go, you know what? I'm done with it.
He's going to bet 600 here.
And I think it's a pretty easy laydown for George. Not necessarily do you think you're beat by Jonas, but there are 2 players behind you.
Well, you know, George is familiar with the way that Jonas plays, and, you know, Jonas could be betting anything, trying to bet him off of an ace.
Yeah. No,
But again, you've got 2 people to deal with behind you.
Jonas will make this play a lot, especially heads up if he puts his opponent possibly on queens, jacks, 10s, kings. But the problem is you're not heads up with Jonas. You've got 2 more players behind. One of them might have an ace.
And let's see how Barry's going to play it. He's going to check raise. And I'm sure that Jonas is going to easily fold this hand.
Now, it's interesting. Earlier, he played the set of 7s very slowly, and now he's check raising.
That is interesting. He's made it 1,000 more.
Mixing up his play a little bit.
Pot's now 2,600. 1,000 to call. What could possibly be going through Jonas's heads here? Could this guy be doing this with a flush draw? Would he do it with an weak ace? Jonas makes his call here and hits trips for 2 pair. He's in.
I mean, would Barry do it with nothing? Just make a move.
Did you hear just what Jonas said? Last time, he said exactly what you just said. You just called. Now you're going to check raise me? What, do you have a flush draw?
But Barry's an experienced high-limit player. He plays a lot of big games. He knows to mix up his play.
No, Jonas is not going to get involved with the hand.
Not those two drummers. Mo. He wants to see the training in English. You gonna let him?
A few times, yeah, but not
Okay.
all the time.
This is not the time. This is the second time.
Button is seat 4 now. And look at that. Brian was trying to give the money to Jonas, but it obviously was not his pot. Gotta love that. Barry takes down another pot, and Barry's been on fire
He's
so
the
far.
guy usually we cut his hand. He's the only
So
guy.
we start cutting now.
He
Is
goes
that
to
what you're
that
saying?
hunting.
We'll start cutting. I understand.
And Jonas is one of those players that has moved up. He's kind of graduated from our first games. He used to play our 5-10 game a long time ago when we first had it. And he's steadily moved up to now where he plays 20-40, he'll play 25-50, and he'll even play bigger than that.
Dave,
really do
February
like his game.
14th, Valentine's Day, we're doing a special ladies' night with the poker chicks. We'll get to that at the end of this hand here. Limped around here, King Jack 7,
I mean, on
rainbow.
our show. Rock and roll, awesome.
Turn is a 3. Got checked around. Barry's open-ended now, and Amir's going to come out and bet. He's got 4-5. And Barry looks like he's going to check call with the straight draw, and we're heads up here. 4-6 against 4-5, and the river's a 3.
Show.
And once again, Amir's not going to bet, obviously, here. He doesn't need
Yeah.
to bet.
You wonder if Barry, could he represent something by betting the river there? You never know.
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
So again, February 14th, Valentine's Day, we're doing a special ladies' night with the poker chicks, including Lond Gallagher, who won our ladies' event last year, and her name was London. People that watch that.
Yeah.
London Gallagher. So she's going to be here.
Who was the MC for that show?
Good-looking young professional from L.A.
Professional what?
Raised here by seat 3, 275. He's got ace-king.
Jacks for Mo.
Mike's going to call with king-queen. Seat 5 is going to call with ace-rag
Wow.
suited.
And how is Mo going to play this now? He's in the blinds,
Let's see.
and he's going to raise this. He announced a raise. He
Yep.
put the call out there, and now he's going to raise. And let's see how much he raises.
Looks like, wow, maybe 1,500 more.
Well, we might see fireworks here. And is Vic going to get involved with ace king, or is he going to throw that away?
Well, the pot now is 2,500. It's 1,500 for Vic to call.
Most good players know how vulnerable ace king is.
He does have position on Mo.
So what do you put Mo on here, though? I mean, might you be dominated? Might Mo have kings or aces?
You know, Vic's he's a very, very good player. He watches the archives. Have we ever seen Mo really mix it up in a game this big? He plays it pretty straight up, doesn't he?
I mean, he obviously is capable of doing it. But what's the worst hand Mo could have here? I mean, maybe he has ace king also.
He's definitely not going to do it with ace queen.
I don't
just can't
Yeah, I don't
imagine that he
think
would do
it.
that.
You know, I mean, maybe you put. I mean, okay, maybe Jacks is the worst hand he does it with. Maybe even does it with tens. But you're behind.
Right.
And you know what? If Vic catches his hand, is he going to get paid off? Are there any implied odds here?
Again, we talk about ace king is really not that big of a hand in no limit. And people scream, what are you talking about? It's the third best hand.
Yeah, I mean,
well, it's not disguised. And no limit's all about implied odds, disguising your hand, making hands, you know.
Yeah, and often against a weaker opponent. If your game is filled with weak opponents who you think will pay you off with a weaker ace,
Right,
well,
with
then
a
obviously,
dominated hand.
I mean, oftentimes we'll see in a game where the players aren't that good. One guy will have ace king, one guy will have ace jack. The flop comes out an ace, and the guy with ace jack can't get away from it.
Or flop comes out with a king and the guy with king queen can't get away from
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
In this game, I think there's only a couple players that are going to be. Look at this. Mike's got aces and he limps in seat 4.
Well, let's see. It'll be interesting. Let's see if Jonas raises out of the blind with ace
Nope.
jack. He does not.
Mo completes with 7-5 offsuit.
How about the case ace comes on the flop?
10 deuce 7. Mo's got middle pair. He's going to get checked to Mike. And this might actually get Mo in a little trouble. See if he's going to get involved
Yeah.
here.
You know what though? Mike hasn't really mixed it up that much in this game.
Mo folds.
So you wonder if this play.
But look at this. Jonas is going to get involved here with overcards.
Wow.
So a bet here by Mike, and Jonas calls. Turn is the case ace.
Wow, and Jonas has a jack of spades in his hand.
Yep.
Wow.
Jonas checks, and Mike checks right behind him.
And the river's
And
a
the
jack.
river's a jack. 2 pair for Jonas. Mike's got a set of aces. What a dangerous check there by Mike on the turn.
Oh, wow.
But he got Jonas to catch up. Wow, the pot's about $700.
Oh, this could get ugly.
Well, there is 3 spades here, though, Dave.
No,
you know?
exactly. I think that's one of the reasons Mike checked.
Jonas bets. Mike moves all. He just calls. He just calls. Mike just calls with 3 aces. And I think the 3 spades kind of killed the action there a little bit. Wow.
Woo.
There, I thought you were so full of shit on that flop.
You always do.
Yeah, most of the time I'm right, but
I mean, it worked there for Mike, but this is the type of thing that, pulls my hair out about his game.
No, see, I mean, but you have to understand, obviously, he might be playing this table differently. He hasn't really gotten at all, and he's not raising every other hand like he does normally in the 5-10 game. This game, we've only seen him raise one time, and that was with King 9.
Well, if that turn card wasn't a spade, the money might have won it.
Well, let's say if it came out the reverse way. Let's say the
Yeah.
turn was the Jack of Hearts.
Limped around here.
You can't really blame Mike, though. I mean, can he raise that? I mean, will Jonas call a raise on the river? I don't know.
Jack 9-4 here, a couple hearts. Vic's got pocket 8s here. It was limped around. He's going to bet 200.
I mean, I don't mind just a smooth call there by Mike. I mean, because it's really difficult to put your opponent on ace-jack specifically.
Mike is called with an open-ended straight draw here with the 10 of hearts, and we're heads up. Turn is a heart.
He's gotten there.
Vic checks.
He's got the nuts.
Mike checks right behind him. And the river is another heart.
Well, Vic's made a straight. Obviously, the hearts play. Vic's hand does not play.
Vic's going to bet.
300.
He bets 300. This is probably just a clear call from Mike.
Yeah.
And Vic says, I play the board, but Mike's got the 10 of hearts in his hand.
Yeah.
Take it down.
And it's not a bad bet by Vic. You wonder if Mike calls if he doesn't have a heart, and Vic buys himself that pot.
no, I think the 8, both players would have needed 8, and I threw 8.
Jordan with the big E.
Dave, I want to talk a little bit about Bonnie's shirt over there in seat number 1, pokerforever.com. Men the Master he's planning on being here on the 16th, and we will be holding a special show featuring him. So if you want to check out the site early on, go to pokerforever.com. Check it out.
And here at Live at the Bike, we're going to try to keep bringing you the big names.
Poker Forever with the number 4. There we go.
There it is.
New site that just, I think, went up today.
Is it pokerforever.com?
Yeah. Limp here and a raise on the button by Jonas.
Reflare.
He made it 250 to go. He's got Queen 6 of spades, and he gets 2 callers. A7 of diamonds and a mirror with King Queen. 10-4-5. See if Jonas puts a bet out here and takes it down. He does. He bets 500, about 2/3 the size of the pot. Bonnie quickly folds.
Not really a good flop for King Queen. He's got black cards, 2 hearts out there. Jonas, being the aggressor on the button, takes it down. He knows how to use his position.
I didn't see your hand that
And again, he raises on the button, makes that continuation bet, takes it down. A move that you're really a fan of.
Of course, yeah, especially if you've got a good hand
Right.
on the players you're playing against.
And Annie didn't do anything really out of line, Dave.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was kind of funny, the looks that she was giving you, talking about the limit prop.
Right. I mean, there was an interesting hand that, and I'll get into it in a second, that I played with her, and you were there for it.
And you did develop somewhat of a reckless reputation at the table. Of course, I knew what you were doing, but George Georgian, who was sitting next to you, was like, Dave, you're playing so reckless, right?
I'm just a crazy man, Wild Dave.
Barry's going to raise it up here in early position to 150. He's got 5-3 suited. Amir calls with 7-5 suited. Mo's in there with pocket 6s. Now look at Jonas. He's got ace-10 offsuit. Look at that. Look how easily he folds that hand. And Vic is going to call with jack-7 of spades. So here we go.
Look at the crap that's in there.
4-way action, $600 pot. 9-4-4.
Well, Bonnie's not in the hand,
No, Bonnie's
sorry.
not in the hand. And Mo, it's going to get checked to Mo, and he's going to bet with pocket 6s.
Hey, that is not a bad flop for pocket 6s. Tough to put anybody on a 9 or a 4. Why not find out right away? And Amir is, you wonder if Amir is trying to think, can I make a move? Because obviously he's got absolutely nothing.
The action's on Barry. He folds, and Amir folds. And
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I thought Barry had already folded. I'm sitting there going, what is Amir thinking here?
Right.
Yeah, it was an interesting play. Now, this is a limit hold'em kind of a play. The pot is about, I want to say $80, right?
Right.
It gets checked around the flop, and then the limit prop throws in a $20 bet into an $80 pot on the turn. Gets a caller, you know.
Right.
Which basically I'm sitting there going, okay, well, how weak could you be? So I
Right.
immediately raised it up to $80. You know, and they both lay it down. But it's just a very much of a limit hold'em play where you're not betting the right amount. They don't know how much to bet.
She also raised with ace-king, Dave. Got about a $180 pot. Flop came king high with no real draws, and she moved in for like 900 on the flop.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you're only
Yeah.
going to get called by a set now.
Right. Right.
Like win long.
Button's over there in seat 2. And Jonas is going to come in for raise. He's got pocket 8s.
Ooh, and let's see if Bonnie re-raises it with
yeah,
9s.
she's got pocket 9s, and she's going to make it 800. Haven't heard much from her. See if Jonas is going to get away from this hand out of position.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty easy laydown out of position against a player that's only played a couple of hands. I hate to be stereotypical here, but it is a woman. You almost got to put her on a big hand. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to assume she's got a big hand here.
And what you mean by that, and we don't mean to sound derogatory, because I've had this conversation often with Shirley Rosario, that usually women, for the most part, tend to play a little bit weak tight.
Right, exactly.
You know.
Until they prove me wrong,
Right.
you know, I'm going to assume that if she's re-raising me,
Right.
she's got a. I mean, anybody re-raising me's probably got a big hand.
Right.
But if I'm playing against a woman, hey, that's my first judgment.
Top pair, right? We always start with top pair.
And the funny thing is that it doesn't apply for Shirley, really.
No, it
She's one of
doesn't.
the exceptions.
It doesn't apply for a lot of Asian women either.
Right.
Asian women tend to be more aggressive, and this is just from my poker experience. I don't mean to be sexist or
Right.
chauvinistic.
Jonas
but-
is going to call. So he calls, and we get a $1,600 pot going to the flop. Maybe he thinks he can outplay her.
Yeah,
King 4
well-
deuce.
Well, maybe he puts her on exactly what she has. Maybe
And look at this,
queens.
it goes check, check. Check, check. The turn's a 10.
And this is what you're wondering now. If you put her on jacks or queens,
Jonas checks, and
Wow.
she checks again. Well, if that's the truth, Jonas is going to have to bet here, right? Of
course.
She just gives away.
Yeah.
She just gives up. He even says your jacks are good here. Maybe he just didn't think that he could get her off the hand. But
Yeah.
I figured that when he called, he was going to try to outplay it. It almost screamed like she had queens or jacks when she checked the flop. You know, maybe he bets the turn or bets the river.
Well, often a re-raise, you know, is suggesting, you know, jacks, queens, kings, or aces.
Right,
And you'd almost want to use any high cards
right,
as scare cards,
right,
especially when she checks it behind you.
right.
Surprising, he didn't. I mean, I'm surprised the way he played the hand by calling and then playing it that way.
And any woman that's a fan of the show, Dave lives in Burbank, up by the 5 freeway.
Yeah, I was trying to say, I'm doing my best not to sound like a chauvinistic pig here, but I'm sure that'll come off wrong. But, you know, sometimes when you sit down at the table and you aren't familiar with a player,
Right.
you do have to judge a book by its cover until you're proven wrong.
Bonnie's got ace, queen, and diamond. She's going to make it 400 to go. I think Bonnie bought in for a little more because she's back up to 5,000, I think. And I don't know if she's taken down a pot yet.
I mean, let's look at
Well,
Mike.
actually, she just took down the last
Right.
pot. Yeah.
Let me just look at Mike for 1 second. Get a shot of Mike here. Now, if you've never played with Mike before, and you look at this guy, Mike, what would be your first impression? This guy's probably a gambler,
Right.
right? And you wouldn't be far off, okay? Obviously, judging a book by its cover can cost you a lot of money in poker, but sometimes you're forced to do that, especially in tournaments when you're moved to new tables very
I'm
quickly.
pretty sure you had like 9, 10 jacks, something like that. I know you didn't have an 8.
You know, obviously, I mean, hey, you're playing in the, let's say you're playing in the World Series main event versus 5,000 people. How can you possibly know everybody in that game?
Buttons over there in Mike. Seat 4.
Look at me backpedaling.
Pocket aces here for George Georgian in seat 2.
250.
He's going to make it 250 to go. Now, Mike's got 6-3 of diamonds. You know, I might make this call on the button against George.
If you know he's got aces, why not?
Yep.
Only me, huh?
He's got to have exactly aces for me to make this call.
I thought some other people were going to call too.
Ooh, 10-5-3.
And I thought for a second it
Yeah.
was 6-5-3.
And George
6-10-3.
loves to do this with his overpairs. He's going to check the flop. And I imagine he's going to check raise. Yep. He often does this, Dave, with overpairs.
That would have been a great time for Mike to take the 3 cards.
Yeah. If I had 6-3 of diamonds there, I would have taken the free card. George is going to make it 1,000 more, and now Mike.
Well, you know, George, wait, he raises pre-flop,
Right.
okay? And he doesn't put a continuation bet in there?
Right.
Something smells.
Yeah, I mean, you could pick up a diamond draw. You could pick up a straight draw. You could hit 2 pair of trips.
And it's
There's
a
lot
nice
of
play.
things.
It's a nice play by George because he's playing the player.
Right.
He knows Mike is going to bet that, and that's why he checks it.
I remember him doing a similar thing with aces against Barry Ward's queens on a flop a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago.
The difference is I'm risking maybe 600. Now I'm making you risk 2,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do
Yeah, I don't like that part.
Because, you know, one of the times we'll have ace king. Then we'll be
All blind Jones.
before diamond.
A little bit different than tournaments, you know.
Any questions? Oh, they're going to have a chip down here.
So Jonas he moved up a little bit, right?
Yeah, he actually moved up a lot.
I think he started, though, at 7,000, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, he did lose a pot to Barry.
Like a 200.
Barry's probably up a couple $1,000.
You know, he's got ace king, ace queen. You check.
Um,
Jonas started with 5, we're getting word. So.
Okay. So Jonas is up a couple thousand. I think Jonas and Barry right now are the big winners.
Almost got checked behind me.
Queen 10 against King Jack here. Queen Jack 6.
Oh.
And Bonnie's got the best hand. Now, Vic raised it pre-flop with King Jack.
Raise it.
And Bonnie's going to check raise. She's going to check raise with Queen 10. She's going to
Wow.
make it 1,000 more.
Wow.
1,000.
I mean, Queen 10 is, I mean, she's going to win the hand, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. But she's betting it like she's got the nuts. Hey, aggressive play, it's the way to do it.
She's almost representing a setter, Queen Jack here, right?
Or at least ace queen.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Vic shows the jack, and he's going to fold. Bonnie's going to take it down.
We try to keep the show as interactive as possible. And we do appreciate all your emails. You can email us at liveatthebike.com. If you have any detailed questions, though, about a particular hand or about something else, obviously we can't always go into it into detail on during the show. But sometimes I'll address some of these questions in my blog. You can check out my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman at liveatthebike.com. Or you can always send me or Bart a private message over on our 2+2 accounts. And Bart's name on 2+2 is Bart Hansen, and mine is Friar Tuck.
Button's over there in seat 9, Jonas.
And Jonas will probably raise, I would say 50% of the time. If it gets checked to him to the button, he will raise probably 50% of the time.
Or limped around, but he's just going to limp. He's got 9-7 offsuit. And we're going to see 4-way action. Look at George. Georgian's got pocket 10s, I believe, and he did not raise out of the big blind.
Yeah, that's not a bad play at all. I mean, there are two ways to play that hand. You can raise it or you can call.
Well, he's going to fire out here on a jack-high board, jack 6-3. And it looks like he's probably going to take it down.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
does.
his table image is such that he can bet that and represent the jack.
So actually, I think Bonnie might. She did rebuy a little bit, but she's probably. I think we got where she bought 2,000 more. She might be down about 1,000. But
So she's in for 7 right now.
yeah, but
Okay.
she won that hand against Jonas, and then she just won that hand against Vic.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you're going to be in there with Queen 10 like she was, at least play it hard.
Now Mike also bought in for 2,000 more. Mike is in the big blind. And look at Jonas. He's going to buy himself the button by raising with King Deuce of Diamonds, 300.
That he takes it down.
And boy, you know, just that hand right there, Dave, if you notice, I'm sure Jonas was looking at who had limped in. It was Bert that limped in. Mike was in the big blind. He's in the cutoff. Bonnie pretty tight next to him on the button. He can raise it right there, buy himself the button. Bert's probably going to fold. And hey, you know what? I don't mind playing Mike heads up in position.
Nice shot in Nicole.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her around the Live at the Bike tables. I think that was because George was in Greece, huh?
Oh, yeah. She'll love that you said that.
I've been riding her hard. I mean, that might come out wrong, right?
There's a lot of things you've been saying lately that's come out wrong.
Hey, that's me.
Jonas is going to raise it up here to 300. He's got ace deuce offsuit.
I don't mean anything by it. I really don't.
Look at that.
She looks great, doesn't she? She really looks great tonight. I like those bright colors on her. That and a hat. I love hats on girls.
Baseball caps?
I do. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I like berets, too. I mean, I love hats. I love even
I told her more guys need to wear pink shirts.
sombrero.
The urban sombrero.
Yeah, any sombrero will do.
It's all coming together.
Keep it up.
Think about it.
Buttons moved over here to Corporation Mike.
And a big
Are you a big fan of Jay Peterman?
Where's Barry? What are you like?
I can't say I am.
C2.
250.
George's going to make it 250 to go. He's got king, queen offsuit.
Now here he's raising in position.
Yep. And he is going to take it
Take it down. Nice raise there by George.
Head a little bit.
Now, some people will say, like, pocket tens, pocket jacks, pocket nines in the small and big blinds. It's really, sometimes I'll raise out of the big blind and small blind with the hand like that, and sometimes I won't. It really depends on the players at the table, depends on my image.
And Dave, you kind of saw a guy, when I sat down on that 5-10 table, kind of give me some money, too. With the hand I had king, queen, and the guy.
Yeah. What was funny, that same guy actually he just paid me off.
Right,
I had
he
the
was
nuts.
steaming a little bit.
And
yeah.
he paid me off, and then
Right.
obviously, and then he steamed up another $500 to you.
Right.
Kind of a good 1-2 punch there, wasn't it? Obviously, we don't play partners, but hey, it worked out. Okay.
Pretty easy call for you with king, queen there. What the pot was laying me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think definitely, especially since he just lost the pot.
Yeah.
You think he might be steaming.
Four-way action here, limped around.
Yes, sir.
10-4 deuce here, and it's missed everyone.
That's a pretty unimposing board there, huh? 10-4 deuce rainbow.
Barry's going to bet 100 here.
Well, he's got ace high.
Ace-5, wheel draw, and he's going to take it down.
But I gotta talk to Vic about that hand. It's driving me nuts, and I know it seemed like such a nothing hand. But the hand where the board was ace, ace, queen, queen. And then it checked around to the river. And Vic obviously had the king. I still cannot believe Vic did not make that call.
Buttons over here in seat number 6. That's Barry. Pocket 9s here for Mike. And he just limped in again.
In late position, wow. I mean, see, in late position, I'm definitely going to raise that up.
Well, now the button's got pocket 8s. He's going to raise it to 250. Jonas is going to call in. Is Mike going to pull the limp re-raise here with 9s?
Looks like he is.
Yep. He does.
He's playing 9s as if they were queens or kings or aces.
He's going to raise it up 500 more. And you know what? Barry's in position. He's got 8s. He's going to make the call. See if Jonas makes the call with pocket 4s.
Yeah,
and he makes the call.
Well, with 2 players calling, I think Jonas is going to try to hit his set and see if he can win a big pot.
$2,300 here as we go to the flop. Here we go. Wow,
Ooh, wow.
10, 9, 5. Mike's got a set of 9s.
And I love the bet here by Mike. I love it.
He's going to bet.
Some people would say, why not check and let somebody else get there? Remember, you're the free flop raiser. You're expected to bet. And look at this. Barry might make a move.
He's just going to call here. It was an $1,100 bet, and he calls. And Jonas is now out of the hand, and the pot now is $4,500.
Now, Barry does have the 8 of hearts.
Here we go to the turn. Turn is a heart. He now picks up a straight draw.
Oh,
He's
this is
open-ended,
huge.
and Mike's going to put the rest all in, it looks like.
And I think Barry's going to call this here, the 8 of hearts.
He's going to put $1,550 in, which means that the pot is $6,000, $1,550 to call.
So you're getting 4 to 1 on your money.
Yep.
You're getting 4 to 1 on your money, even if your opponent has, I mean, unless your opponent has king, queen exactly, and it's hard to put Mike on king, queen here.
Well, you never know about, you might not have the heart as an out.
No, you might not.
Don't know that. But he is going to make the call.
Mike could also have queens, by the way.
And here we go to the river, and this pot is about $7,500.
Mike's going to have to dodge a 7, a queen, and a heart.
Well, they're talking about a deal now.
You can run it more than once.
You can run the river more than once if you have a draw or, you know what I mean?
What you can do.
I got to tell you, I might
run the
be
river
done
like
ever
2
running the
times,
river more than
right?
once.
And then you
It
drop
happened
the
to
pot
me
in
at,
half.
at another
If
casino.
he wins one and you win
And I would have
one,
won a
he
huge
gets
pot, and I
half. He
ran
wins
it more than once, and I
He
ended
gets the
up
whole pot,
losing
you
2 out
win
of
both,
3.
you get the whole pot.
And I know it's the
Making
same odds.
separate pots and playing it
I'm just thinking, you know what?
for the river each time.
Forget it. No more running the
From
river
your
more than
cards, we
once
know
for
if
me.
you're wasting time. He might be drawing dead. Okay, so he's got outs.
So now both cards are
So
up.
you can run it twice if you want.
And they're talking about running it more than one time.
And he's got a lot of outs. If we figure out the outs real quick, he's got
You
3.
have the option of running it twice.
He's got 9 hearts. Okay.
No.
9 hearts, plus an additional 3 queens, plus an additional 3 sevens. He has got 15 outs to the river.
Yep. He wants to run it twice, but Mike says, I don't want to run it twice. Once or 3
It'll be
times.
the
Yeah.
same thing, but there'll be 3. The pot will be divided in 3. And everyone,
Two
the time that
thirds,
you
you can
win.
win no thirds.
And again, for people that are,
3 times?
and they're going to run it 3 times. This does not affect the expected value of the hand at all. Well, the first time Mike wins that hand, no help for Barry.
2.
Second time Mike wins that hand, Barry needs a heart or a straight here. and the river's a heart. So Barry is going to win 1/3 of the total pot,
Right.
and Mike is going to win 2/3.
So basically, Mike will take $5,000. Barry will take $2,500.
And when we were talking about, Dave, what the outs were for that hand, he had about a 1 in 3 chance of winning. So again, that is basically the more times you run the cards, the more times, the percentage of the time you're going to win is, pretty much close to what it should be.
Right. Theoretically, if you were to run the card 30 times, it would almost be exactly, 10 and 20.
2010.
Exactly.
2010.
Funny there that Barry actually wanted to run it twice, and Mike insisted upon running it 3 times. Good job there, Mike.
Because a lot of times I'll be bluffing. Mike, those are big straight cards.
And I think Jonas is saying that he no longer runs it more than once.
Right.
And Barry Greenstein said the same thing, and I think I'm going to follow their suit. And the reason they say it is they really want the other person to fear that they're going to lose their entire stack. Don't call me. I'm not going to make a deal with you, okay, buddy?
Okay, that's
Right.
a live straddle.
That's exactly what Barry Greenstein said.
Yeah. He said if people think that you're going to make a deal, well, then they think, okay, my entire stack is not up for grabs.
Live straddle here by Vic Park and C3 is coming back into the game, so this is a way of posting when he was away from the game.
Right.
Couple callers, and Vic is going to raise it up 400 out of the straddle spot. He's got King 6 offsuit.
He's done this a couple of times here, and
Wow.
he picks up an easy $200.
Yeah, against 2 tight players, he's got position.
Well, the interesting play is if you're in the small blind and the big blind there's no way you can just limp in. You almost have to raise or fold. You know what I mean?
Yep. Now, Willie here on 2+2, he said that girl in seat 1 is looking to walk into a gigantic hand and get stacked playing top pair mid kicker that fast, guarding the queen 10 against. Wow,
Right.
Mike is straddled and he's picked up kings in the straddle spot.
Wow.
Now this is an automatic raise for him because he does it every other hand, right?
Right. Now, nobody really has a hand. I don't know if anybody's going to call this.
Well, he's going to raise 300 more. Jonas has got 6-3 suited.
Now, you wonder if Jonas maybe makes a move. No, he's going
He's
to call,
gonna call.
though. He wants to see a flop with that hand. He wants to crack him.
So here we go. It's about a $700 pot. Heads up. Jonas has got position on Mike. And if Jonas flops a big hand, he might get all of Mike's money. Ace deuce here.
No, it's not a very big hand for 3-6 of spades, huh? No spades out there. No pair.
Mike's
no
gonna
draw.
bet.
I mean, Jonas is almost drawing dead. I mean, he actually would need runner straight or runner trips.
And he gets away from it. And Mike takes it down.
And
I wonder if you could
Mike
ever
shows.
get Mike off of that hand with 2 aces on the board at showdown.
I think some people could.
117.
Some people could get him off the hand.
Alan, a
Right.
player that
Right.
player that Mike knows will only move in with the nuts.
Right.
Jonas though, no. Jonas is gonna have a tough time bluffing Mike off that hand.
Right.
But on the other hand, that Jonas is also gonna get paid off by Mike.
Button moves over here to seat 2. Been an interesting play here about the first hour and 15 minutes of the show. Barry's got a little suited connector, and he has been doing this all night. He's going to raise in early position with the suited connector. Makes it 150 to go. Jonas calls with 8-4 of hearts.
All right.
Vic's going to call ace-10 offsuit.
Yeah,
And
it's like-
Mike's in there with jack-rag offsuit in the big blind.
I'll tell you the one thing that's really difficult about Barry's game, if you're playing against him, is there's no rhyme or reason to when he's raising.
And this flop has missed everyone. If Barry bets, he would take it down.
Well, let's see if he does.
Well, he bets $250 into a $600 pot.
About half the pot. And you wonder if Jonas is going to smell this out. He's got raising chips out there.
And he is going to raise.
Up 7.
He's going to make it $750 total. And this should do it right here.
Well, Jonas has got Barry dominated.
I mean, it's so obvious sometimes when people make weak bets that they really don't have anything. I mean, sometimes people say, well, people will make a weak bet here with, say, a set of sevens or a set of kings on a non-draw heavy board to make it sound like or seem like it's
Yeah.
weak. But I don't necessarily see that often.
Yeah,
It'd be
once-
more likely that someone's going to check a set in that spot.
Yeah, it's obviously a weak bet there is either suggesting strength or weakness.
Right.
The funny thing is, obviously, it's easy for us in here to know that Barry was weak there. But Jonas picked up on it, too, and takes the pot away. And just like that, at 8 high, he earns himself $1,000.
I'm taking a jackpot card.
Can I get a card first?
Brown. Brown, yeah.
So the button here is over in seat 3. And if you go to pokerforever.com and you use the sign-up deposit code BIKE, if you make a $20 deposit, you get 40, so 100% there. So
Wow,
check
that's
it out.
pretty good.
Check it out. Again, Poker Forever with the 4 as a number
Yep.
spelled out. Or not spelled out, the number, poker4ever.com.
Yeah, I know, and like you said, Men the Master is on their team.
Right.
And he's going to be playing here on the 16th of February.
That's right.
Got him a case of Coronas.
Buttons in seat 3. You wonder how much cash game No Limit does Men the Master. Obviously, he's a great tournament player. Does he ever play No Limit cash game?
I actually played with him last Legends for about an hour.
Jonas is going to raise it up to 300. He's got ace-10 offsuit, and George Georgian's got ace-king. He just makes a smooth call. And Mike is in there with pocket deuces, and Barry's in there with jack-9. And here we go. $1,200 four ways. Jonas, the pre-flop raiser.
Yeah, Bert not in there with 3-7.
Yeah. 9-8-3. Barry's got top pair. He checks. Jonas checks.
Let's see if George takes a shot at it.
Nope.
Nope.
Checked around. Turns a 10, and now Jonas has the best hand. But look at Barry. He's got an open-ended straight draw with his middle pair. Jonas is going to bet now. He bets 600.
About half the pot.
Well, George usually is the type of player that's just going to call a pre-flop raise with ace-king. I don't know if I've ever seen him re-raise. Very conservative player.
Yeah, a lot of players will just call with ace-king, and they will re-raise with, queens, kings, and aces.
And now he's thinking, well, do I have the best hand here?
Once again, you can call Jonas because Jonas could have nothing, but there's two more players behind you. Can you beat both of those guys? He's really got no pair, no draw either.
And you wonder what Barry's going to do here. How is he going to play it? And look at this. Mike calls with pocket deuces.
Well, I think Barry can. To me, Barry's
It's a $2,400 pot. And let's see what he's going to do now.
It's not a bad spot to raise. If you raise a significant amount, the problem is you're going to have to raise a lot to get everybody off the hand.
No, he's just going to call. $3,000 to the river here.
Yeah, not much for implied odds, though, if he hits his hand.
And the river's a 5, and Jonas is good. It's a third diamond. Can somebody represent? Check, check, check.
Yeah,
Jonas is going to escape here with ace-10.
Wow. Yeah, Jonas was last to act, and he's certainly not going to bet that hand. Yeah, Jonas takes it down.
Yeah, Barry really could have put some heat on those guys, for sure.
Well, I can't believe nobody represented the diamond.
Yeah.
Now, Mike's in first position, and he didn't think tough for him to do it. But I'm really surprised that the way Barry played that hand.
And I think Mike, by making that call, he was hoping that all the players or Barry was going to fold, and Jonas was making a bluff at it on the turn.
Right.
Look at some of our bicycle casino chips. $25 and $100.
And Jonas takes down a $3,000 pot. Man. A lot of money there.
Big blind over there in seat 6. Button incorporations Mike's hand. Limp, limp, limp. So $200, 5 times 4. 50 times 4. Here we go. Ace, 7, 5, couple clubs. No one has an ace here. 9-7 over for seat 2. Let's see if George is going to bet when he gets checked to him. He does. He does bet with middle pair. He's going to bet 2 1/4.
Yeah, pretty straightforward in late position to bet it. He's going to take it down. Nice bet.
Mike does not get involved with bottom pair, bottom kicker, backdoor spade draw.
You sound surprised.
Well, the funny thing is, it might sound a little bit strange, but I could see, if you guys are both deep against George, making a case where you could actually call that hand in position against George. A really tight player, if you pick up some sort of draw, might be able to raise him off of it on the turn.
Well, yeah, then again, remember, he's not necessarily betting a premium hand there.
Right.
He only had a pair. So he had the second pair with a 9 kicker. If you smooth call him and then you raise the turn, you might get him off it.
Right.
But once again, it's also Mike. And
Right.
people have a tendency to pay Mike off more.
Limped around here.
It's important, obviously, when you're sitting at a table, not only to know what your image is, but to know how your opponents see you.
5-way action here. Not a whole lot out here. 2 9-10s. King, king, 10. So we've got George with 9-10 and Bonnie with 9-10. No one's got a king. And George is going to bet 2 1/4. Now, George will bet his king here just like he'll bet his 10. And Bonnie's going to check call. Turns a 7. Bonnie checks.
And you put one more bet in there here, just so she does not put a bet in the river.
Well, do you put a little bet in here so if you see you get check raised, now she just calls. Now it's probably just an easy check down on the river.
Exactly.
If a blank comes. And the river here is an ace.
And Bonnie's going to check it, and certainly George is going to check behind you.
And
now.
probably George is hoping that she's not on some sort of flush draw with the ace. And this one's going to get chopped up. And what I was going to say is sometimes people we talk about pot control, checking the turn. Now, Bonnie, who's played a little bit passively, you might not face a bet on the river. But against a player that's going to bet the river, you might want to just bet the turn a little bit and see if he check raises you, or if he's the type of player that will only check raise you with trips.
Right.
And if he just calls, then you know.
Yeah, I mean, there are some players, even in no limit, though, she could, let's say she has a hand as strong as, say, King 9.
Right.
Something like that, where she's got trips but not a great kicker. She might just be in check call mode.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to check the turn, well, then she might know her trips are good, and then you're forced to bet, call maybe $600 or $700 on the river.
Ace King offsuit here for George. He's just going to limp in.
Well, he's in early position.
7-9 suited limps in here, Vic Park. Mike's going to come in with deuce 3 of clubs. And this one's going to get limped around.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. 7 players.
Yeah, wow. $350 pot to the flop, folks.
Giving our card guy, Ronnie, a workout again tonight. 10-4-6 couple. Diamond set of 6s here for Barry in seat 7.
Wow, and
that's
two
actually
pair
a
for
mirror.
Jonas.
A mirror.
And
Jonas is going to lead with 2 pair. He's going to bet.
Yeah, he's got top and bottom, folks.
Yep.
Seat 9.
He's got 10-4 offsuit. We don't have it out quite yet. And Amir's got a set of 6s.
And let's see how Amir plays this. He checked their early position.
Actually, I think Amir's on the button. Barry's going to call here. And you're right, Dave. Amir is small blind, and he's going to check raise.
And he's going to check raise right away, and wow. What is Jonas going to do here with top and bottom pair?
Amir made it 900 more. He's raised immediately with this set. And Barry's in there with top pair.
Man,
Wow.
You know what Mama said? Don't go broke in an unraised pot.
Well,
Your opponent could have anything here.
Yep. The pot now is $2,100. It's $900 for Jonas to call.
And Jonas is going to raise. Wow.
And he's all in. He's going to move all in. Jonas has moved all in, and he doesn't have a lot of outs. As we can see, one of the 10s is dead. He really only has, one out here, right?
Yeah, he needs basically the
case 10.
Right, a 4 would not do it. Obviously, 4s full of 10s would lose to 6s.
Now, Amir doesn't have a lot left, so I'm sure he's going to make the call.
Oh, yeah, it's a no-brainer call here for Amir. Wow, and Jonas is... He's going to double up Amir here, and this is a big pot,
Well,
folks.
lucky for him, Amir doesn't have that much, and this pot's going to be about $5,000 here, folks.
And that might have been...
Turn is an ace. Jonas needs a 10 here, and the river is a 5.
Yeah, he only had 1 out.
Right. Set of 6s there by Amir, and he didn't play it slow.
No, the one thing you wonder here is, now Jonas played that hand obviously pretty aggressively, and he moved all in after he gets the raise from Amir. Now, if Amir's got another 6 or 7 grand behind him, I'm not sure if Jonas makes that same play. But since Amir only had another 1,000, I think Jonas kind of figured, you know what, there's no way I'm getting away from this.
It's a no-brainer play for Jonas there. With Amir only having 2,000 left, the pot is 2,000.
Right.
You're going to make that $900 call, and now Amir has 2,000 left. You're going to make it, you lose a $5,000, $6,000 pot. Those types of things happen. It's almost like set over set type of situation,
Right. I mean, 2 pair just, losing with 2 pair just sucks, and you got to accept it. Now,
again, that pot wasn't deep stack poker there. Amir was short.
Right.
So.
And the big thing you wonder is now, Jonas actually had about 7 or 8 grand. Now, if his opponent had 7 or 8 grand, you wonder, does Jonas just call and maybe throw it away on the turn? Who knows?
Wow, that's giving him a lot of credit.
Well, the turn was the ace of diamonds, which basically shows he can almost beat nothing then. I mean, the turn has got to be the worst card out there. Because if your opponent only had, say, top pair and had ace 10, well, now he's got 2 pair. If he had diamonds, he got there.
Limped around here 3 ways. All diamonds on the flop, Jack 8-7. Bonnie's got the best hand here with the middle pair. She's going to come out and bet with 8-3 of clubs.
Now, she's been playing a little bit out of the box. I mean, obviously, raising there with only a queen before. But the players at the table are not privy to that. Only we've seen that so far.
Right. And she's going to take it down there. There you go. A little post here by Arvin on 2+2. He says he's a big fan of the show. Enjoyed the 6-12 limit hold'em last night. He has a question. In limit and no limit hold'em, is raising with ace-king a tell? Sometimes I don't raise just because of that reason. Thanks so much. Well, I think that ace-king's an automatic raise in limit. In no limit, I think it depends. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I might not necessarily re-raise somebody's ace-king.
Pocket queens here for Vic. He's going to make it 200 to go. He's under the gun. And he's going to take it down here.
I mean, I guess if you're saying, I don't know if it's necessarily a tell. I mean, I guess you're announcing to the table that you have a premium hand. your hand is not disguised. And let's say you were to limp in with ace king and the flop came out with an ace. Nobody would put you on ace king if you had not raised. But if you don't raise with ace king, you're basically ace king is only a drawing hand.
Right.
You're asking to get sucked out on.
Well, if you take a look at your type of table and they're playing a lot of hands out of position, which are weak hands, which are easily dominated, well, then you raise for value with ace king, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to realize that ace king is a premium hand. And if somebody's going to, if the big blind is going to call with any two cards, and let's say they have 10-5, you've got to charge them to call with 10-5. Now, they might outflop you, but, you're putting more money in with the best hands.
And this one gets folded around the blinds, and Vic is going to fold to Mike here and take it down. Virgin poster here on our thread. Restrict says, Dave and Bart, are any of you guys actually good players? You don't seem that smart.
No, we suck. We're awful, okay? We're not smart. We stink. We give away money every day. Come on down to the Bicycle Casino. You, too, can take our money.
Do I sense a little chip on your shoulder talking?
No chip whatsoever. This is completely straight.
But
anybody that watches us play on a daily basis knows how much money we give away.
Deal.
Three-way action here. Limped around $150 pot. 8-3 deuce with a couple of diamonds. Bonnie's got top pair, but Mike's going to bet in here as a bluff. Bets 125, and Bonnie immediately raises. Makes it 500 to go.
Hey, Bonnie's like, I guess top pair, she's going to, live and die with top pair, right?
Well, I think she said that, I was playing 30-60 with her earlier. She said she plays limit, and she plays a lot of no-limit hold'em tournaments. I don't know how much experience she has in no-limit hold'em cash games. Now I'm just speculating.
Yeah, well, so far her reads have been right on. She's had top pair a couple times. She's check raised or raised,
right,
and taken it down against interior hands.
The only thing that I can say is that I have seen her calling raises with easily dominated hands. Just she didn't get involved. She got involved with the king-queen against Bert's re-raise with kings earlier on, which could have been a disaster.
Yeah, you wonder if she. Now, the one thing you're wondering is now if somebody comes over the top of her again after she raises him, if somebody comes over the top again on her, will she be able to release top pair bad kicker? That'll be interesting. Button is in seat 3. Small blind is $25. Big blind is $50, folks. Big game poker here.
Four-way action, limped around $200 pot. Here we go. 10-7-4 rainbow. 10-5 over there for Bert in the blind. He's going to check top pair weak kicker from up front, and it gets checked around. The turn's a 5. He's made 2 pair now.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get paid off at all, but he should take it down.
He's going to bet 300 here, a little over the size of the pot.
And Bert is another one of those players at this table. If he's showing strength, I can pick my spots better, right?
I was just going to say, you can really tag 3 players on the table that if they show strength, you don't really get involved with them. I was going to say Bert, George, Georgie, and Bonnie. But I want to say from what we've seen from Bonnie, and I don't know if the players have seen this,
right,
she's been showing strength when it's not necessarily warranted.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely sit at the table and immediately respect her game.
Right.
Well, I immediately sit down and respect everybody's game. But I would definitely respect her raises.
Well, what I mean is she's check raised kind of with a mediocre hand, so I don't know if George Georgian's going to make that check raise with Queen 10 or Bert is. So again, I wonder about that difference.
Yeah,
it's a difference that
wonder.
You have to notice.
Who?
King Queen suited here for Amir in the big blind. Limped around into the blinds. He's going to check.
Live at the bike, folks.
Now we got King 10 of hearts over there for George. He is dominated. Well, Ace 3-9. Amir's got a flush draw. And let's see what Amir's
flush draw and the best hand, right? Yeah.
He checks it over to George. George is going to bet. He bets 250. See how Amir's going to play it out of position.
Now the interesting thing is, why not bet? He's going to raise this.
Looks like he is. And Mike is telling him, if you win this hand, it's going to be a collection pot.
I've seen a lot of players do this, and I don't understand. You're check raising with a flush draw, and it's not a bad play, but...
And he is going to raise.
If you get called here, you know you're badly behind.
Well, especially against a player like
right.
George.
As opposed to betting out with your spade draw and trying to take it down. And obviously he's going to get a little more money in the pot, and obviously George is going to lay this down. He's got no pair, no draw. But raising with your draws out of position, man, if you get called and the turn doesn't hit you, then what do you do?
Right.
You know, I mean, let's say it gets called there by George. And immediately you got to put George on a minimum of big ace or maybe even 2 pair, and the turn comes out a red card. Well, then what do you do?
Dave, they removed that guy's post from the thread. I think the moderator went in and removed it.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Censorship. Come on, we're in America, folks. Let people speak. Well, you can feel free, if you have any criticism for us, feel free to email us, okay? If 2+2 won't let you post our criticism of us, email us at liveatthebike.com and let us know how stupid we are. Okay? We do appreciate it, actually. Constructive criticism is always well received here, as well as any ideas, concerns, questions.
Man, I lost money on this deal, I think, no?
Button is in seat 5. That's Bert. First to act is actually Jonas. No, I'm sorry, actually. Barry bought himself the button. He missed the blind, and he bought himself the button. And Amir is limped in. I want to say Amir's limped in first position with ace-queen. And Barry checks it, and you're going to see it heads up here. 5-4 of hearts versus ace-queen. Amir's got the best hand, and he's in position. Mike is not in the hand with 3 deuce. Flop misses everybody. And and Barry's going to bet this. He's got 4-5 of hearts, actually, folks. He's going to bet, and Amir's going to call. Wow. I mean, if you limp in with ace-queen there, that flop missed you completely. Turn is a 7, and that changes nothing here. Barry's got 4-5. He's got a straight draw now. And he's going to bet 300 now. Betting about, I want to say, let's say 70% of the pot. And Amir's going to throw it away. Now, that's one of the things we were talking about before. Playing ace-queen, which is, you know, obviously it's a decent hand. But you play ace-queen, and you limp in. And then you call when you completely miss the flop. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. And the river actually would have been a 6. And Barry would have got there. He would have the ass side of the straight there with the 5. Button moves over to Barry. Seat 8. Mo is taking a break, I believe. Jonas is the big blind. Mo's going to get up and let somebody else play. He's a great host. He lets people play over him. And first to act is actually Bonnie, and she's going to raise it up with ace-jack. Wow. She's in first position, and she makes a raise with ace-jack offsuit.
Well, I mean, that's not something that's totally out of...
It's not. I mean, to me, it's almost a raise or fold situation. A lot of times people will look at a hand and go, well, it's not good enough to raise, so I'll just limp in. I would rather fold it then.
I see people often limp in with limit in that hand, and I think definitely raise or fold situation and limit as well.
Yeah, ace-jack offsuit is not a hand that plays well multi-way.
Well, Jonas is going to call and Vic is going to call.
Well, Jonas has got 9-10 of hearts. Nice suited connector.
So it's about a $900 pot as we go to the flop, and Bonnie's the pre-flop raiser.
Now, Vic is in position here.
King 8 deuce. Well, if Bonnie were to bet here, let's see. No, she's going to check. Now, let's see if Vic bets with 6s now.
Well, I think that's the point of calling with 6s. You're not necessarily just calling to hit your set. You're calling to see if you can outplay somebody. And he actually has the best hand right now.
Yeah, and he bets 600, and he easily takes it down. Now, the funny thing about Bonnie is we always preach fast playing your hands, but the kind of the way that she's played, and I'm not saying that she's played it badly. If she flopped a set there, and she's got Vic in the hand behind her, maybe you do check. Because the way that she's played it so far tonight, she's checked when she hasn't had it and bet when she has.
Right, exactly. She's pretty straightforward.
Right,
I mean. Yeah.
Right. Smooth criminal.
Right, but raising ace-jack offsuit in first position, to me it just, man, if I get called anywhere, I hate my hand.
Right.
I mean, I guess it has some value in tournaments, and you said she was a tournament player. It has some value in tournaments because you can steal the antes and steal the blinds, which is imperative in tournaments. But in a cash game, man, I don't want to get called ever, except maybe by the blinds.
Limp here by Mike. He's got 69, the old 69 offsuit. And Barry's going to limp in here in late position with ace-7, and we're going to see four-way action, $200 pot. Jack-3 of spades over there for Bonnie. Well, ace-3-4, all diamonds.
Well, Barry's got the best hand here.
And the highest diamond. And Mike's going to put a little bet out here. He's going to bet 100.
And it's probably not enough to steal it.
Barry called. Here we go to the turn. Turns a diamond.
Well, let's see if Mike shoots again, and he's got the better real amount.
He bets 300, and Barry calls again.
Now let's see if Mike can really bet the river. Can he get Barry off the hands?
River's a 4, and it's just
No.
going to get checked down.
I mean, Mike's gonna have to put like probably $1,000 or $1,200 bet on the river.
I don't even know if Barry folds there. I mean, the way that he's played it tonight, seems like he's got a tendency to call down some hands.
Yeah,
7 of diamonds. I mean,
it's good read. He had the best hand there.
Button moves over there to seat 9. Is Mo at the table?
He actually is going to let Alan play over him.
Oh, okay.
And Alan is coming into the table in a second. I mean, I hate to harp on that ace-jack hand, but, I mean, ace-jack to me is like the plague. I hate that hand. And no limit, I think it's just garbage.
Well, Jonas has got ace-jack suited on the button. Much different situation.
Completely different situation.
Now, Bert limps in with an ace-10 offsuit. Barry's got king-queen. He limps in, and probably Jonas is going to raise here on the button. And he does.
And he's raising his hand as much as he's raising his button.
He's going to make it 300 to go. He probably wants to get this one heads up. And Bonnie's going to call with pocket 3s.
Okay.
And king-queen is going to call here. So we're going to see a $1,000 pot go 3 ways. Jonas, the pre-flop raiser, on the button.
Yeah, I'd rather call with pocket 3s than king-queen. Pocket 3s is not an easily dominated hand, while king-queen is.
Here we go. Queen, deuce 6. And look at this. Jonas has flopped the nut flush. Barry's got top pair.
Now, Barry does not have a club in his hand. Now, Barry had the king of clubs. You wonder what would happen.
Barry's going to bet 200. Let's see how Jonas is going to play it. Does he make a mini raise here? He is going to raise with his nut flush. Notice, folks, right away.
Yeah, and Barry put out kind of a weak bet to see where he was at.
And Barry is going to call, and Jonas could get really paid off here if another club doesn't come.
Yeah.
How about a king, an offsuit king? Oh, the turn's a king, but it's a club.
Well, now Barry's got outs on him here.
And it goes check, check. And the river is a club.
Yeah.
Well, now Jonas is definitely going to, obviously he's going to bet some.
Yeah. And what is Barry? What is a king or a queen to come on the river there?
Oh, my goodness. Is he going to overbet the river here? He's going to bet 1,500 here.
About a pot-sized bet.
And is Barry going to call thinking that they might play the board?
Obviously, his hand does not play. He has the flush. He has a king-queen high flush. Jonas has almost got a royal flush.
And do you notice how Jonas played that hand, in essence, fast playing it, when no one would ever expect you to turn over the nut flush when you raise the flop there?
Yeah, I mean, the king of clubs on the turn is just the worst card.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with Barry here is Barry has checked the turn. You're wondering, did I induce this bluff? But I can't even beat a 5 of clubs. I can't beat a 3 of clubs.
He can't beat any club.
No club.
It's a $3,000 pot. He's basically calling 1,500 to win 1,500, right? There's 3,000 in there. He has to call, and he makes the call. And Jonas is going to take it down with the nut flush, which he raised on the button when he flopped it.
Yeah.
What a hand! What a hand! And look at Vic's face.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way Jonas played the hand. I mean, the turn, actually, I was going to say the turn really cost him a lot of money. But you know what? Wow, Barry paid him off anyway. And Barry's hand did not even play.
Yep.
I mean, his 2 pair was garbage, obviously. All he had was a flush.
Yeah, can you imagine if a king or a queen had come on the river?
Oh. Although, once again, you wonder, is Jonas capable of getting away from it? I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of his game. I'd love to see if he can make a big, big laydown. We haven't seen that yet.
Live straddle here by Corporation Mike in seat 4. Barry's going to call.
I was just real happy all the clubs ain't coming. I was real grateful.
Yeah, I saw you on the king. You're kind of upset.
Because I got the jack too, so I got the ace and the jack.
4-way action here. Limped around. It's a $200 pot, 50 times 4. And actually, it's a straddle pot, so it's a $400 pot. Jack 10-9, couple diamonds.
Well, Bert's got the, nut flush draw?
And a straight draw.
Vic's actually got a bottom pair with the open-ended straight draw.
Bert's going to bet 400 here.
He bets the pot there. And I like Bert betting this. He's got a real tight image at the table. It's tough to put him on a hand. Does he have Jack 10? Does he have Jack Queen?
Yeah,
or does he have a flush draw?
Vic's not going to get involved with this
No,
guy.
I don't think so. Not with the ass end of it.
Nope. And Bert takes it down. There you go. Have we ever seen that on the show, someone actually raise? I'm flabbergasted because we always encourage fast playing.
Yeah, rarely.
I almost think that, by watching this show, you're gaining a little bit too much. Boy, I might be putting us a little high.
No,
I just think that fast playing with your big hands is a way of deceiving people, which a lot of people haven't realized
Of
yet.
course it is.
We've seen it for a year here on the show.
You actually saw me earlier tonight, the hand
Yeah.
where the gentleman paid me off. The flop came out 7-9 jack. I had 10-8. I raised him right on the flop. He bet
Right.
into me. I
Right.
raised him. You know,
$300 raise here.
he obviously
by,
didn't put me on the nuts.
$300 raise here by Bonnie. She's got ace jack. Well, this time she's in the cutoff. Couple limpers, going to thin the field out here.
And the big thing, obviously, is to mix up your play. You don't want to do that every single time.
Right.
Once in a while, you can slow play. Once in a while, you check raise.
Once in a while, you check your big hands.
Exactly. I mean, if you're always raising your big hands, obviously a good player will pick up on that as well.
Right. Look at this post on 2+2 by Chester. You've heard that some people are book smart and some people are street smart. Well, those aren't Bert and Ernie's strong points. These guys are fashion smart. Well, there you go.
You think he's referring to my new
I
jacket?
think he's referring to me.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not you.
Buttons over
You've
here.
got a lot of strong points. Fashion is not one of them.
We're heads up here. Seat 1 and Amir. Bonnie limped in late position with Queen 4 club. Small blind folded. Amir's open-ended. He checks it. Bonnie checks right behind
Yeah, I mean,
her.
why not bet your draw there, Amir? He bets the draw. He takes it down.
Well, now he's going to bet when the ace appears.
Yeah. And he's going to take it down anyway. But let's say the queen were to hit. Let's say, you never know what Bonnie's got, obviously. But why not bet that draw? Name your price.
Thank you all very much. Good luck to all of you.
Looks like Greg's leaving the box here. Now, did Barry get up and go?
Apparently he has. Or he's moved. And I'm getting word we have
Do we have two $3,000 games going?
two $25.50 games.
Wow.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So I guess he requested a table change. I guess this isn't necessarily a must-move game.
I got to tell you, a lot of casinos here in Los Angeles, all the casinos have their strong points.
Right.
But the Bicycle Casino is quickly becoming the place to play No Limit Hold'em.
Well, I tell you, even at the mid-levels we talk about, I've said it many, many times, those, that in-between level, if you don't want to go unrestricted, is there really a game, especially in L.A.? I mean, you're talking about the other casino, $5, $10, $400 max restricted. Boy, that's a shitty game. I might not say so myself. But, I mean, we've really got it covered here in terms of the mid-levels.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
and we have a selection as well. I mean, we've probably got 3 or 4 $100 games, 3 or 4
Right.
$200 games, a couple of $300 to $500 games. You want to play No Limit, you come here.
Limped around here. Four-way action here, 10-3-3.
Misses everybody completely.
And is Jonas going to throw a little bet out here with ace-suited clubs? He is.
Take a shot at it.
And look at this. Bird is going to call with ace-jack. He has the best hand. So we're heads up. Bird is on the button. Here we go to the turn. Turn is a 4, and now Jonas picks up the nut club draw.
Well, if Jonas pushes hard here,
It's going to go check, check.
remember it was Bert that called him.
And the river is a 7.
Jonas has got the bet if he wants to take this pot away.
He
No.
just gave up. Bert's going to take it down
Well,
there with the
you know
ace-jack.
what? It's an interesting call. When Jonas bets, you almost have to put Bert on a 10 or a 3. And with the 4 and the 7 come out there, neither card is really scary. It's
Right.
You got to know it's going to be tough to get Bert off a 3 or a 10.
We haven't seen Bert make that type of call yet.
Yeah.
But it's going to move over there. Seat 7. And actually, Jonas just said if club doesn't come on the turn, I would have bet the turn, but I checked it because I didn't need to bet. Trying to go for kind of that reverse free card. So Jonas is going to be in the big blind. Of course, we're here live at the bike. We stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 Pacific time. If you can't catch us live, you can watch us on a 24-hour rerun loop that starts an hour after the show and goes all the way up until the next day at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Raise here by Vic Park, Jack 9 offsuit. It's going to take it down in seat number 3. We've talked about the LA poker scene. Check it out. You can click on the right-hand side of your screen or go to the lapokerscene.com, play for cash site. We're doing a $500,000 free roll. Final stage for that free roll is in October. But sign up now and use the bonus code 5X500K. You get 5 gold bars, which basically, when you make your first deposit, which basically gives you 5 entries into first stage tournaments. When you win those, if you win one of those first stage tournaments, you get an entry into the final stage. $500,000 free roll, $200,000 first prize. Button's over there in seat 8.
Ready? And the last time here, he lost. Last time.
Limped around here. And Jonas is going to raise. He's going to make it 300 more. He's got 7-3 offsuit. Doesn't sense a lot of strength out there. Maybe he's going to pick up all that dead money. Now, George Georgian's got pocket 5s. He's going to make the call. Vic is going to call with ace-7 of clubs. And Amir is in there with pocket deuces. So Jonas did not really knock anybody out here. 4-way action, $1,300 pot. Ace-Jack-8. Jonas is going to check it. Over to Vic. And he's going to bet with the ace. 600.
See what I have to lay down?
And Jonas shows Mo, say, see what I have to lay down? He folds.
No, I'm calm.
And I think George is going to be done with the hand as well.
Yep.
And Vic is going to take it down. Well, once Jonas got, 4 callers on that pre-flop, I think he just shut down. He's trying to pick up those
My
limpers.
ace jack would have been right in the muff.
Didn't really work. Button's going to move over here to Jonas in seat 9.
He's got to raise more than 300 to pick up the limpers.
Question here from Dan Wynn on 2+2. Do any of tonight's players play poker solely for a living? Well, I can tell you that Jonas does. Mo does. I believe George Georgian now does as well. And Vic Park. So there's at least 4 or 5 pros on the table. What your definition of pro is might vary, but that's pretty much their full-time job. $175 raise here by Vic with ace-10 under the gun, but Bonnie's got ace-king in the small blind. And she's going to re-raise. I was wondering if she might push hard with her ace-kings, kind of similar to a tournament move. She's out of position. Maybe she doesn't want to see a flop, and she's going to take it down.
Take it down, Bonnie.
George plays full-time now, doesn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So again, George, Vic, Park.
I'm not sure if he has another job as well.
Well, if he does, he's here off a lot.
He's here a lot. Yeah, but he might. I mean, he might be he have his own business.
Yeah.
Some of these guys do have their own business and have kind of like, spun it off almost, and it manages itself.
Or have somebody that manages it for
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
It's great to be an owner. That's got to be the best job in the world, right?
Well, we see a lot of people
Yeah.
that are here 40 hours a week,
Right.
and they have a business that's making them money on the side.
$300 raise here by seat 9, King Jack of Diamonds. George has got pocket 4s in the small blind. And he's not even going to get involved.
No. And obviously, I don't think Vic's going to call.
I'm out. Touch them up.
Vic is not going to get involved here with ace rag.
Lay that down?
And George showed the
He
4s.
hasn't folded yet.
Now, the only problem with George showing the 4s there is, why do I want to show my opponent what cards I don't call
I mean,
with?
you talk about raising his blind every single time.
Well, it's
right?
not even necessarily that. It's more of, if later on, let's say later on I raise on the button with whatever, okay? And the flop comes out, say, with a 4, I can then eliminate certain hands that George might have because I know he wouldn't call with that hand.
Button's going to move over there to seat 2.
I mean, I don't really want to show my hand ever unless somebody's paying me off.
So George's got the button.
And that's a mistake that I see a lot of players do. They show their cards way too often. I just don't see a value in it.
We got a little raise here by the button.
Yeah, George's going to raise it up with ace-10 here.
150, and Vic's going to call with Queen Jack in the small blind, and Corporation Mike's going to call with King 7, so about a $450 pot.
And obviously,
955.
I'm sorry, George actually have an ace-9 there, which is obviously better than ace-10 here.
Well, now it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You wonder if Vic called here out of position because he thought he could just bet George off of a hand.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do.
He's going to bet 250. See what George is going to do.
Well, you wonder if you're putting George on a button still here. If George has got King Jack or King 10 or something like that, can you get him off it?
Again, oftentimes with that type of bet into me on the button, I might just call. And he is just going to call.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's either got nothing or he's got a big hand.
Turns a 4. Pot's 1,000.
I mean, would Vic bet a 5? He might. I mean, Vic is pretty tricky player.
He's going to check.
Yeah, and now you always say
And
calling.
George checks right behind him. And the river is a 4.
Well, that doesn't change anything. George has got to know he's good here.
Well, now if George checks, he's
Yeah.
going to bet.
Good. I like the bet here by George in the river. You never know. You maybe get paid off by ace high.
I don't necessarily know, though. I mean, because I know George's game so well, I don't necessarily know if he bets ace high there.
No, but you might get paid off by ace high. I'm with you on that.
Right. I'm saying I wouldn't pay him off with ace high.
No, probably not, unless
Yeah.
you think. I mean, George does bluff
Yeah.
occasionally, and if you put him on a bluff, you might pay him off. Thinking
Now, there,
ace
was,
high's
you know,
best.
there might have been a little bit of an example of pot control there on the turn. Now, you kind of gave like a little bit of confused look I saw when he checked the turn. But I don't necessarily think it's the worst play.
No,
or-
not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually going to bring up the point you always say. Sometimes in position calling is either as strong or even stronger than raising.
Right.
And obviously, once George calls, Vic's bet on the flop. You know, Vic is frozen. He can't do anything really.
Mike,
He doesn't know where he's at. He knows he's behind. That's it.
three-way action here. 9-6 deuce here.
And this has missed everybody.
Mo's going to bet. Mo's got king jack, and he's going to take it down. Part of the reason why we have an empty seat over there, Dave, in seat 6 is because we've got 2 games going. And I think the other game is 6-handed, so sometimes they won't move it over and
Right.
keep the games balanced out.
It's funny here at the Bicycle Casino. It's a really odd thing. They will break, and I just don't understand the theory behind it. They have a must move, let's say a must move from a 2 limit games.
Right.
They will break the second limit game to make sure that the first limit game is completely filled up.
Right.
But Mo runs the no limit section, and I got to tell
Right.
you, I think the no limit section is run a lot more efficient, where
Right.
he will not fill this game up
Right.
to break the other game. He'd rather have 2 games going.
Right.
Which
Just makes sense, doesn't it?
It's clear as day.
Yeah.
I mean, it amazes me that they run the limit section that way.
Limped around here.
I mean, in the end, obviously, you would want more poker players in your casino. You know.
5-way action here. Queen, jack, 9. It was limped around. Well, Mike's got top pair. He's on the button. And Bonnie's going to come out and put a little... Oh, that's George. George is going to bet. George actually flopped a straight. We don't have it up there. He's got king 10.
Wow.
He bets 200 right into the straight.
And he bets it. I love that, huh?
And Mike calls.
Now, Mike, the only thing with Mike is, I just don't understand why you even limping in with Queen 7
Yeah.
offsuit. What are you trying to hit?
Boy, he could get in trouble if he hits trips or 2 pair, possibly. Well, the turn's a 9.
Well, that doesn't change anything. I mean, it just makes George doesn't have the
And
nuts
George
now.
checks.
I like the play. I mean, he
And
bet
Mike's going to bet.
he bet it once to see where he was at. He got called, and now he's going to slow play it a little bit.
And he just check-called there. So
And he's
here we go to the river, and the river's a 3. Now what is he going to do?
I was going to say, Mike had outs there. Obviously, a 9 or a queen would have given him a full house.
And he's going to bet. So he check-called the turn, and now he bets the river.
And that's kind of odd.
And
What-
wow, and Mike just he calls without a second thought, Dave. I mean, if Mike steps back and thinks about how that hand played out and who he's playing against, how could Queen 7 be good there?
Yeah, no, his 7 doesn't even play. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got queens and 9s and the jack kick. I got to agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I find myself always defending Mike against you, obviously. I do like Mike's game. But it's not like, I mean, it's one of those things where you can look at the river and go, well, what did the 3 of spades do?
Right.
You've got to look at the way the hand was played, and you've got to realize that there's no way Queen 7 is good there.
No, I don't dislike Mike's game. I like his style. I just think that there are obviously some leaks that he needs to plug up. As do we all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to understand that a lot of these players are not professional
Right,
players. And,
right.
you know, they're going to have leaks, and that's what
Right.
most players do have. You know, it's how the professional players make a living.
George Georgian's going to raise here out of seat 2. He's got ace, queen of spades.
Yeah, he's in somewhat middle position. He's going to take this pot, I believe. Well,
He makes it 250. And seat 9 there.
Jonas
Jonas
is
is going to call. He's dominated.
yeah, he's got a suited ace. He's not looking for an ace here. I guarantee you that.
With the flop comes queen, 10, jack.
I mean, if you're calling with ace 3, you're looking for trips, you're looking for 2 pair, you're looking for clubs. You're not looking for an ace.
Oftentimes you've said if you're really deep, we talk about the problem with dominated hands, but you might play ace rag or ace rag suited to hit 2 pair with the ace.
Yeah, and as far-fetched as that might seem,
Yeah.
once in a while you can do that if you're really deep because you can get paid off.
Right.
You know, if the flop comes out, let's say the flop comes out ace 9-3 there, you wonder, does George get away from the hand? Button is in seat 7. That's Amir. Small blind is Mo. Big blind is Jonas. Hey, if you've got nothing to do the weekend before Valentine's Day, we've got a couple, like 3 tournaments here. February 10th through the 12th. On Friday night, February 10th at 7:15, we've got a play against her, where you can bring your girl in here, or you can bring your guy in here, and do a no-limit hold'em shootout.
If you're a guy, can you bring your guy in here too?
No. Simple. No. Jeez, stop going broke back on me. See, and Saturday, we've got to play with him or play with her, where it's kind of a tag team event, which is kind of cool. That starts at 7:15 also. And then on Sunday, there's a 2:15 event just for the girls. And it's called the Queen of Hearts. And kind of cool, actually. First, second, and third place winners will win a buy-in entry to our Winning of the Green Ladies event.
And the Champion of Legends Ladies event from last year, London, Gallagher, will be here. So she was, of course, was on the WPT Ladies event. When is Legends going to be shown? Anybody know? Booth? Raise here by seat 4. He's going to make it 250 to go. Ace-Jack off suit. And Jonas is going to call here with King-Queen.
Now he's playing. He's playing Mike though.
Yeah. So King-Queen against Ace-Jack. Oh, and Ace flops.
Yeah, against most players, you're not going to want to call that because you could be easily dominated. But Mike could have anything in this spot.
Jonas checks, and Mike is going to bet 500. And this is a great bet against a cagey player like Jonas. Why would you check this?
Yeah,
Because maybe Jonas might make a move here.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen Mike check this?
Right.
Best thing you can do is bet it and give Jonas a chance to make a play at it.
But
I don't know how much money does Mike have behind, though?
Not that much.
I mean, he's only got 1,200 left.
Well, now we have another post by Restrict. He says, Bart and Dave, what limits do you play? I think you'll need to be staked if we play a cash game at my limits.
Okay.
Well, possibly.
We've already admitted that we're terrible players. We have no idea what we're doing. Come on down. Take our money.
Small blind over here in seat 8. That's Mo. Mo has really played it tight.
The other day I was
tight.
playing 2-4 limit hold'em.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm thinking of moving up to 3-6. I'm thinking of taking a shot at it.
5-way action here. 10-8-4 with a couple of spades. Bonnie's going to check. She's got 3-4. And Bert is going to bet here. He's got ace-9. He has nothing. He's going to put a little bluff out there, and he's going to take it down.
Well, I got to tell you, I like Bert's game. I mean, he doesn't make many moves, but every once in a while he does, and he picks up just enough money to keep him afloat until he wins a big hand. You know, doesn't get out of line too much, but picks up the blinds here, picks up the blinds there. And he's probably right around where the buy-in is. He hasn't really won any big pots yet.
Button moves over here to Jonas in seat 9.
But he's not somebody I really want to mess around with, is it?
Right.
You know, if you're sitting at this game, it's not like he's not the target, so far at least.
Mike is going to raise it up to 225. He's got king-9 off suit. Now, Bert's got ace-jack suited, and he's going to make the smooth call on seat 5. Jonas is going to call with jack-8 offsuit on the button. Pocket 5s over here for George Georgian.
Oh, it already is.
And he does not... Were those pocket 5s? But I think Vic also has pocket 5s. So unless I read that thing incorrectly, chances are a 5 is not going to come here. Queen 8-4.
Check.
Mike checks.
You're saying George had pocket 5s?
I believe he did.
No, George's in the big blind, though.
No, he had 6-5. He had 6-5. That's
okay.
That's
I was going to say, how big was the raise? 250?
Yeah. And it gets checked around.
Jonas did not bet.
Jonas did not
on the
bet
button.
on the 8. The turn is a 6.
I'm really surprised Jonas did not bet that on the button. Maybe he thought somebody had a queen, or he's just trying to play it slow.
Well, let's see if it gets checked to him twice if he's going to bet.
Yeah, it's an odd
Now
play.
he's going to bet.
Yeah.
Bet
And now you're
600.
wondering, does Vic think his hand is good? He's got a straight draw now, too. I'm actually somewhat surprised Vic didn't bet the turn after it gets checked around. You can't think the 6 helped anybody, right? And he's going to...
Well, let's see what he's going to do here. He's going to raise.
Yeah.
He's going to check raise, and it took him a while to do it. So you wonder if Jonas still thinks he might have the best hand.
Now, you wonder, did Jonas check the flop to make this play? I mean, to get more money out of somebody.
He's made it 1,200, and Jonas instantly calls, and we've got a pot of over $3,000.
Wow.
And here we go to the river. The river's a 4. That's the best card. Well, it's a third spade. Let's see what Vic is going to do here.
He's going to have to, I mean, he's got to know at this point he's got to bet, doesn't he?
It's a $3,000 pot.
He can't think his 5s are good. The problem is he might be betting into a flush draw. You never know.
He's got maybe $5,000 in front of him. It's a $3,000 pot.
Or did Jonas maybe pick up some draw on the turn? Wow.
And he's going to bet, it looks like, all in for maybe 4,000 plus. Looks like, well, maybe 3,000 there.
$3,000 about wow, and this really puts Jonas to the test. Now, Jonas has induced this bluff. I mean, all this action, Jonas has induced here by checking the flop. That's all he did.
It's a $6,000 pot, $3,000 for Jonas to call.
So he's getting 2 to 1 on his money. He's got
a hand here.
He's only got to be right, you know.
1 out of every 3 times.
Yeah, 1 out of 3. I blanked there for a second. 1 out of 3 times, obviously, to make money on this play. But could Vic make this move with nothing? You know, you're wondering, did Vic maybe pick up a heart draw?
And he makes the call, Dave. Jonas calls.
Wow, what
and
a
he's
call.
going to take it down.
What a call by Jonas.
Wow.
What a call. And you know what?
$9,000 pot right there.
I got to tell you, and my respect for Jonas's game just goes up even further. I was really wondering why he would raise the flop with Jack-8 on the button and then check it when it gets to
Well,
him.
he didn't raise. He just called. He called on the
Right.
yeah.
Well, I was surprised why he didn't bet the flop.
Bet the flop, right.
But you know what? He checked it one time, and he induces a huge bluff from Vic and takes down what amounts to a $9,000 pot.
Well, I think that, you know, if we asked him about the hand afterwards, he might have checked the Jack-8 on the flop on the button to get a bet out of Mike, who was the pre-flop raiser.
Right.
And then it didn't come. Well, then he's like, I'm not going to let another free card come off. I'm going to bet now on the turn with what is the best hand. Vic took a while to make that move on the turn. And you think, you know, if Vic had a made hand on the turn, is he really going to check with the intention of raising when everybody checked the flop
Well,
on the next street?
That's the thing you've got to wonder about.
Right.
The flop was what, Queen 8-5? No, Queen 8-4?
Queen 8-4.
Queen
right.
8-4, then 6-4.
Yeah.
Queen 8-4. Now, what hand would Vic check the flop
Right.
and then check again with the intention of check raising?
On the turn, right.
I mean, he had to have a monster, and you got to start thinking of what would he have. And I'm
Right.
trying to think. Now, the flop was Queen 8-4. The turn's a 6. The only hand I can think of is maybe 7-5.
Right.
Which would be the straight.
George Georgian's got pocket aces here in seat 2.
You know, he checks it one more time when he hits his gut shot. But, I mean, that's the only hand you can really put him on. I mean, he's basically got to have a bluff hand, nothing, or 7-5 specifically.
George is going to make it 600 to go. And look at this. Bonnie's going to call on the button with ace-jack. Well, here you go. You got to notice your player. See if hopefully she won't hit a jack here. Well, king 10 deuce. This might save her. George is going to come out and bet.
Well, she's got a draw.
She's got a gut shot.
Yeah.
He bets 1,000 into about a $1,300 pot.
Yeah, nice bet by George. Pretty straightforward. And I imagine he's going to take this down.
Yep. There you go. And, you know, it's amazing. You can obviously, George Georgian is the prime example of how you can play this game ABC and win money.
Yeah.
He's getting paid off.
Well, I mean, Bonnie's play has been pretty straightforward up till now, but we've seen 2 occasions where she's calling big re-raises with easily dominated hands.
Right.
And in this case, ace-jack, where she was just, I mean, man, she was in really bad shape,
Well, again,
obviously.
and
the king-queen before when she was up against kings.
Again, you know, the only knock on her game so far, again, I don't know how much experience she's had in no-limit cash games, is that she's got into a lot of trouble and lost some money just with her pre-flop hand selection. She's kind of playing it more like a limit game in terms of what hands were good.
Yeah, well, she called Bert $500,
Right.
and then she called
Right.
$700 from
Right.
George there. That's $1,200 in just pre-flop raise calling with, you know, less than premium
Look at
hands.
this. George is raised with ace-king. Bonnie limped in, and she called with king-6. And seat 4's over there with pocket 7s. And the flop comes 10, 10, 8. Mike is good right now.
Yeah, you wonder if Bonnie's getting a little restless.
It gets checked around. The turn's a jack, and now Mike's going to bet. He bets 800 here.
And he's got the best hand. He also has a straight draw. If a 9 comes, he's got the straight.
Now, George has overcards and a straight draw.
Yeah, George would need an ace, a king, or a queen to give him the pot. But once again, he's raised pre-flop, but
Check the
played,
flop.
yeah, check the flop. And once you do that, you pretty much you're giving the pot away.
I mean, usually if you raise preflop, and even if you don't hit the board, if the board comes paired, now that is connected, people would play straight and flush cards in that manner. But if it comes paired, you know, chances are somebody's missed.
Yeah, it puts you in a tough spot. You know, I think he bets if it's only Mike in there. When Bonnie calls too, he gives her credit for something, and that might have slowed him down. You can't blame him. And remember, nobody at the table is seeing what Bonnie is calling pre-flop with.
And George is still thinking about it here.
Now, if George calls this, Mike will probably check the river.
George actually has an extra out here. If he caught a jack, his hand would be good as well. A jack, an
there you
ace,
go.
a king, or a queen.
Right.
Or an 8.
Yeah.
Or an 8. He's got 3 jacks, 3 8s,
That's 6 outs.
3 aces, 2 kings, and 4 queens.
He's got 16 outs to the river.
Because we know one of the kings is dead.
Well, now, knowing you have 16 outs, if you put Mike specifically on 7s, let's say Mike accidentally turned his hand over, does he have the odds to call? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think there really are any implied odds in this hand.
No, and the pot is how much?
Pot is about 1,500.
800 to call. No, so clearly not getting enough to make this call.
He shows the ace-king. And again, I'm sure you're not a fan of that either, and he folds.
I don't want to give my opponents any information that they don't have to.
Right.
You know, a lot of the players aren't paying attention, but the few that are now have an idea of how George plays ace-king pre-flop and what he'll do on the flop if he misses. And there are players in this game that are paying attention. Players like Vic Park, players like Jonas, players like Mo.
Legends of Poker premieres March 15th on the Travel Channel.
Well, I can't wait to find out who won.
Kev Math posted that up, but my producer actually beat you to it, Kev Math.
Guys, cocktail is on me.
Oh, how nice of Mo.
3 tables. That's 2 tables. Go
Limped
from
around here.
Hey, can you buy us one too?
Anything you guys want.
Got a little under an hour left in the show.
Cocktail on me, everybody.
I'd love a beer, Mo.
So now Jonas is close to being the big winner. He's made a killing at this game.
Oh, Jonas is, I think he's definitely a big winner right now.
7-5-4 here with a couple of clubs. Well, Mike's got top pair and a straight draw. He's going to come out and bet 200.
A couple of big calls by Jonas. He's had Mike and he's had Vic try to bluff him off hands, and he's called them both down.
Again, you know, the more and more you work the hands through in your head, the more and more why you would realize you might call.
Yeah.
Now look at Vic. He's got 7-5. He's got top 2 pair, and he just calls. Mike bet out out of seat 4. We got 7-3 and 7-5 in the hand.
Yeah, and well, you know, Mike is now has double gutter here. If he catches a 6 or a deuce, he has a straight.
Pot's about 500. See what Mike's going to do here.
Mike's only got about 1,800 left.
And Vic is going to bet 2,000.
Well, and that's going to put Mike all in.
Yeah.
The pot is only, what is a pot?
Pot's about 800 here.
Wow, that is and exactly what Mike said there. It's kind of a steep raise.
It'll have a chance to come back because we're going to shuffle it.
And wait a minute, you know, we have the turn up here as an ace, but Vic is actually...
She burned in turn before the action was complete.
Oh, so the board right now is only 4-5-7.
Right, there we go.
Vic wanted to raise the flop, and now he is going to raise.
I got you, okay.
Yeah. So we
Mike
didn't
could
even
actually
see the turn card.
So Mike could actually bet on the flop.
Yeah.
The dealer actually burned in turn before.
Yeah. So we're getting word that Jonas has got about 11,000. He started with 5, so he's up about $6,000.
Well, I would think he has more than that even. Wow, okay. I mean, because he's won a couple of big pots off of Mike, off Vic, and he got Barry to pay him off when he had a nut flush. But I think he is the big winner of the night.
Yep. But again, you know, if you work that hand back in your head when Jonas made that call, it makes sense. Now, the reason why I get on Barry all the time is because when Barry makes calls, it makes sense that he's beat, and he should fold. Barry Woods, I'm talking about. Yeah.
Your point is well spoken, though, in the sense.
Right.
A lot of times when you play a hand backwards and you really think of how it was played, you can almost put your opponent on the exact hand they have.
Bonnie's got the nut flush draw here. She's going to bet into the semi-bluff, and she's going to take it
Nice
down.
bet by Bonnie. Important to bet your draws.
Right.
as an exercise, I actually challenge people when they're playing in a game, whether they play online or whether they're playing in live,
Right.
keep yourself focused. And by keeping yourself focused, try to put people on hands.
Right.
Really test yourself. See how you can do. See how well you're doing.
And Chester on 2+2 says, there's Vic's 9 o'clock move. He used to make that move 5 minutes before the old time when the show would end, which was 9 o'clock. So there you go.
Good to keep that in mind. So next time if I'm in a game with Vic and I see him raise big, I'll look at my watch.
Right.
I'm friendly.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8. Again, boy, who's been the tightest at the table? I wouldn't say it was George, Bonnie, or Bert.
Mo.
It's Mo.
Mo is right now is probably playing tightest. He hasn't gotten many big hands to play.
Right.
I want to say maybe he might be up a couple $100. He stole a couple of little pots.
He does, Dave, the more and more I play the 5-10 game and open the game with him in the afternoon,
Yeah.
he does definitely open it up in that game. I think as he moves up, though, he just kind of lays back and he's like,
Yeah. Well, he's already told me. He said that his comfort zone, he loves playing the 10-20 game. That's
Right.
where he's most comfortable.
Right.
This game might be a little bit out of his comfort zone still.
Yeah.
But this is the game that he wants to get acclimated to.
Right.
And he's certainly got the ability to get there.
Got several people away from the table right now, so we're playing a little bit short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-handed. But it looks like Amir's coming back.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. If that's not convenient for you, we have a live loop. And the show just keeps going on and on and on until the following day at 5 p.m.
Mike is straddled here, and he's got king 10 of clubs in the straddle spot. Vic is going to complete, and Mike's going to raise it up. And Vic's got the same hand as Mike.
Yeah. But Vic's hand is vastly superior. He has 2 flush draws. Mike's only got 1.
Right. Vic is out of position as well. Oh, misses everyone. 6-5-3.
Well, Vic's on a free roll here. He's got the heart.
Check here. Turn to 7.
Well, they're both drawing dead to each other.
Check. And the river's an ace, and let's see if Mike represents now. And he's going to bet 500. That's about a pot-sized bet.
I got lucky.
He says, I got lucky. And the funny thing here is, is there any way that he could call this? He would have to raise, right? Could you ever think that king 10 would be good here?
Well,
I mean, it would be almost a random thing where it happened.
Well, the thing is, what can you get Mike off of, Bill? Would you get Mike off a 7? What do you are you raising to get Mike off of king queen?
You're not going to get him off of an ace if he has it.
Yeah, I mean, the raise is only going to get him off of king queen or king jack.
Right.
So I mean, I just don't think a raise is going to work there. I mean, I think if Mike had a pair on the flop or the turn, I think he bets it.
And Mo said I put you on king high. No, he said, Mo said he put him on 10 high.
Believe me, I said it. I put him on king 10 high.
10
Well,
high.
Mike might, Mo probably would have paid him off.
The face did that thing, huh?
I know. I expect.
And it's funny, sometimes you see a post on 2+2 and they're going, wow, what is Vic doing? What a maniac.
He does that about once every 5 shows.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it obviously, it's a really good call by Jonas. I mean, it's really tough to put him on the exact hand he had.
And it's only against a player that's going to be able to lay down a hand. We actually saw Jonas and Vic have a really interesting hand about 3 months ago where, Jonas had raised in late position with deuce 5. Vic limp re-raised with 3-5, and they went head-to-head. Everybody missed, and, Jonas used his position and took down the pot.
Yeah. I missed that show. How can I see it now?
Well, you can sign up for the archives. Just click on the on-demand banner or the archive banner. $14.95 a month gets you access to all of the shows we've ever done in the past.
Wow.
Mo's going to put a little raise in here with ace 10. Now, seat 1's going to call with queen jack offsuit, and Mike's in there with king 8. Here we go. Wow, king, queen. Bonnie's got a pair of queens.
Now, yeah, let's see if Bonnie gets involved here.
But Mike's got trip kings.
Yeah, she's got 2 pair here.
And Mike
Decent
bets his trips right away.
Oh, I love it.
He bets his trips.
And Bonnie's definitely going to at least call this. We saw earlier when George had it, and she had bottom 2 pair there as well. She called down.
And Bonnie called. Turns a 6.
And Bonnie is drawing dead.
And I think Mike checked. And she checked right behind him. The river's an ace. And that's an action killer for Mike.
Yeah.
$800. And he would have probably gotten money off of her on the turn. He checked it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault the play. I mean, he doesn't know what she has. He's checking to see where she's at. He doesn't necessarily know if he's even good. Remember, he's only got trip kings with an 8 kicker.
All right. Take care.
And I think that we're losing Jonas.
I'm surprised. I mean, he's been killing the game. I'm surprised he's leaving. I know Jonas we used to joke around Jonas. When Jonas would win $1,000, he would leave the 5-10 game.
Right.
I guess now it's his number's 5,000.
Or 10,000.
If he wins 5,000, he's in. He's gone.
So we're going to play a little bit short here.
And we'll fill this game up, though, quick, though.
We have a raise here by Vic Park, 200, Jack 9 of diamonds.
Hey, so that hand between Jonas and Vic Park, do you know what date it was?
Not off the top of my head.
No. Okay.
No.
You're usually pretty good at that.
Maybe a little birdie tell me in a couple minutes. Ace 7 against Jack 9 here. 10-4-4 on the flop. Vic was the pre-flop raiser. It goes check here on the flop.
Yeah, both players have missed.
Turns a queen. Vic's open-ended now.
Yeah, Mike still has the best hand here, though. Let's see if Vic bets it.
Check again.
Yeah, you wonder if Vic's a little bit...
The river's a queen.
Wow, and Mike's going to win this with ace high. You wonder if Vic's a little gun-shy. He's been taking the worst of it tonight.
And will Vic try to represent an ace here, and Mike will call? Nope, just going to get checked down. Yeah, Vic seems like he is a little gun-shy now.
Yeah, and you can't... I mean, I don't mind the check down there by Vic. I mean, I would have liked to see him bet the turn, but once he decides to check the turn, he really can't bet the river, right? I think he gets called by Mike. If you have any emails for us, any questions, comments, emails at live@thebike.com. We do read them, do appreciate them.
That's right, live@thebike.com. Button's going to move over here to seat 5. And we have seat number 7, Amir. He's buying the button. So he's the only blind, and he's got $25 dead.
It's okay to find that one.
Mo is going to make a little mini raise to 100 with ace-jack. Bonnie's going to call. Now, Bonnie's got queen-8 suited. Now, you made the case, Dave. You said you almost want no one to call. And Vic's going to re-raise to 400.
No funds at the table, sir.
No, Mo is actually in... Where's the button?
He's under the gun.
He's under the gun, yeah. You wonder if Mo is just getting a little impatient. He hasn't gotten many cards tonight. Maybe he's trying to...
Well, I think that you can almost pick a little pattern up with Mo, at least lately. He tends to raise in early position with, say, ace-queen, ace-king, ace-jack, king-queen, 2 to 3 times the big blind. But with his bigger hands, he'll raise more. And then sometimes here, if he doesn't hit it, he'll just check and fold.
And Bonnie's going to call.
Wow. And
A
she's
re-raise?
dominated. A raise and a re-raise. Maybe she's getting a little impatient.
Yeah, you wonder here.
This is going to be a $900 pot, and if a queen comes, it might not be good for her.
Oh,
my goodness. Now, the thing is, it might be a chop pot here, folks.
Yeah, but right now it's not. Let's see what happens.
Queen, jack. She
Oh,
checks.
man.
Vic is going to bet. He bets a little bet. He bets 400. Both players have flop trips. And she's just going to check call. The problem for Vic here is if she shows strength, does Vic think he might be out-kicked?
Well, now Bonnie's picked up the flush draw as well.
Turns is 7.
Bonnie's got more outs.
Could Vic ever lay this down thinking that he might be out-kicked if Bonnie shows a lot of strength?
Now, Bonnie needs, to win this hand, she needs a spade, or she needs a card, or a spade or an 8 to win the hand.
She's going to bet again. And she instantly moves all in. Instantly. And I don't think that Vic is that deep. Let's see. Man. I knew it. Look at him, Dave. If I put a bet in here and she comes over the top of me all in, I don't like my kicker.
Of course you can. Remember, it's Bonnie.
Yeah.
You know,
she called a raise and a re-raise, but this time she's got queen 8.
He's got to think he's beat here.
Yeah.
But he's actually in good shape. Bonnie needs a spade or an 8 to win the hand. And if a card higher than a 10 comes, they'll chop it up.
He bet 1,000. She re-raised, and it looks like I'm trying to figure out how much more it is.
And Vic is going to call almost out of frustration, I think.
Well, I think the pot is so big right now. Wow, here we go to the river.
He needs a small card.
Well, they might run a deal here. Pot's about 6,000 or 7,000.
Now, once again, a spade will give it to Bonnie as long as it's not the 9 of spades.
And if a 10 comes, it's a chop.
10 or
a
higher.
king or an ace. So here we go the first time to the river. River's a king, so chop the first time up.
Yep.
I don't know how many times they're running it here. Here we go the second time. Vic wins the
Vic
second
wins
time.
that one.
So we're going to run it 3 times. Bonnie needs a spade here, and the river's a 7. Chop that one up.
Yep.
So Vic is going to win.
One
They're going to
third.
split 2/3 in half, and Vic's going to win 1/3. So he wins 1/3 the pot. There you go.
Right.
1/3 of the pot.
No, that gets chopped.
You got to think if Vic was, if Vic was deeper, he might have laid the hand down.
Well, Bonnie and Vic were both deeper. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he hated his hand. When she check raised all in,
Yeah.
he hated his hand.
I mean, she's either got pocket jacks, maybe something like that at that point, or a queen with a higher kicker, right?
Yeah, you can't. Man.
I'd really love to ask Vic. He had to think he was beat there. He just,
Oh.
maybe he thought that he was getting maybe 3 or 4 to 1 on the money.
Yeah, you saw his hand on his face. He goes, "Oh man." Remember, none of these players have seen the way she's played tonight.
Right.
You know, seen her in there with Queen 10,
Right.
King 6. They haven't seen that, so they got to put her on Ace Queen, King Queen.
Yep.
Man, she could even have a set of jacks. Who knows?
Email here from
That's 3.
Clapman at sbcglobal.net. I was curious if that is a Poker Forever shirt the female is wearing. Yes, it is. Check it out. Check the site out. Poker, the number 4, ever.com. Check the site out, and hopefully we'll be doing some business with them in the near future. And then the Master, hopefully
Yeah.
coming here on the 16th.
If you sign up with the bonus code of BIKE,
You get
BIKE,
100%.
you get a 100% deposit bonus.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So Mo is helping out. Down
Figuring it out. Sometimes it can get a little complicated.
Hold on. The last one. Give her half of one side.
This is why we don't allow running it multiple
We
times
went
with
3
smaller
times,
games.
right?
Yeah.
This is
It
one
just takes
time.
too long.
They're not equal. They are equal.
No, just 2 are not equal.
Okay.
No,
Give
bring
her-
that. Bring
give
that
her
stack
half of
over
that.
here. Bring
Give
that
her
stack
half of
over
one.
here.
This is the
There it is,
non-found and
Poker
this is the
Forever.
Half of that stack.
You know, and I got to tell you, while we have a little break here, I want to give kudos to a lot of the casinos out there that now run the restricted and no-limit games. They've really learned from their mistakes. Back in the 80s when the no-limit games were going, they didn't last very long because a lot of the beginners would lose their bankrolls, on one hand or one night.
They didn't have restricted buying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now, because of the restricted smaller games,
Yeah.
you almost have this limitless flood of players that can continually fill in the bigger games. So as a player goes broke in the bigger game, they will jump back down and play in the 100 game, the 200 game, or here actually we have a 3 to 500 restricted game. And that's really exciting to me. I mean, we have this almost like an endless cup of coffee.
At least I made the move. I don't feel bad. I'm going over that.
Button moves over here to seat 7.
I mean, obviously, if the players are going to go broke, unfortunately, it'll almost be like, the fit of the fittest there. The best players will be around, the fish will all go broke, and the games will dry up.
Well, that is, again, the reason why we started to run it multiple times, or the reason why they did it way back when, was to control, say, pot size, decrease the variance, and hopefully, Mo does it so that some of his players won't go broke, so his games will continue. That's
Yeah,
his job, to
exactly.
keep the games.
Well, and it's also his job. He knows if there's no game, he can't make money.
Right. And again, it does not affect the expected value of the hand at all.
Right.
So what a great way to keep the game while not affecting the hand.
Right. Although I do keep referring to
Right.
what Barry Greenstein said. And if you want to hear more of what Barry Greenstein said, you can actually subscribe to the archives. We have about 4 or 5 hours of Barry Greenstein commentary.
Pot's limped around here. King 10 for a couple hearts.
Mike
Hopefully,
has moved to seat 9. Sorry to interrupt you there.
hopefully by the end of the night, for all you archive subscribers out there, I'll have that date for that hand with Vic against Jonas. Maybe 3 months ago. That other
3-5 versus 2-5
Yeah.
or 3-5 versus 4-5.
Check here. River's an ace.
Oh, Mir's backed into the best hand.
Well, no one has a queen here. I don't know if anyone's going to bet.
No,
Yeah,
Mir's
just
going
gonna
to
check
check
it
down.
down. We have maybe about a half an hour left in the show.
Now, oftentimes, if somebody bets that river, you can almost put them on they must have a queen or they're bluffing.
Right.
Because they wouldn't bet if they had the ace. I mean, the one thing that's great is, and we were talking about obviously Jonas, who actually started playing the small no-limit games and has built his way up to this game and even higher. And we see a lot of players. Sometimes I'll jump into the 5-10 game or the 10-20 game, and I'll see players I've never seen before. Or I'll see a player that was playing the 200 game just 4 months ago.
Well, the funny thing is, and I don't want to, poker is all about patience, but if you're a good no-limit player, the move and the bankroll increases that you can see, I think, move a lot quicker than at limit, where the variance is a lot higher.
Right. And obviously you can lose. I mean, you can have a really bad night, obviously.
Vic is going to raise here to 200 with ace-king. Now, seat 9's got king-queen over there.
Yeah, new player in seat 4 wearing the pink shirt. I think it's a pink Poker Forever shirt. And that's Christian.
One was a full house.
One was a full house, which was a
I
chop.
don't really know what the delay here is at the table.
The king was a chop. That's why I'm looking. It doesn't seem like it's right.
Queen 9.
Okay.
It isn't
We
right.
need to go back.
That's why I was looking and going, and I thought you were watching it, so.
Hey, it's your turn.
That's why I thought if you say it's right, but I kept counting.
Okay, before we go too far, count your chips right now. It's exactly like that. Right.
I think, again, seat 1 is talking about...
I don't understand.
No, we figured you lost 2.
No, I chopped.
No,
Bonnie's
they
got a
didn't.
lot of money in front of her. Did she raise?
1,300.
No.
As one half.
1,400.
Well,
1,400.
Dave, I think we're having a little bit of a problem at the table here.
That was the 1/6. And she should have gotten 1/3. Yeah, 1,400 more. 1,400 more.
I don't know, Dave, if there was a mistake in chopping it, but it doesn't look Bonnie has that much. There should have been 1/3 of the pot. And we can... They chopped it twice.
Again, I didn't, but I looked at you because I thought you always know that.
And obviously in a cash game, we are live here. We're unedited, unscripted. So obviously these problems are inherent with our show. And in a cash game, obviously, or even in a tournament, you do have problems and you have,
Each of those stacks were
you know,
14. She got
things that have to be taken care of.
All right, your turn.
In other shows that you see on TV, there are, obviously they can edit it out. The beauty of our show, though, is that we keep it live. Politically incorrect. But you know, they fixed the problem there, and we've moved on. And it's raised, a small little bump raise here by Vic. And Mike's going to call. And, wow, and Bonnie's in there with king-queen. Flop misses everybody. It's 7-6-3. Vic still has the best hand. Let's see if he's going to put a continuation bet there. Nope, he's going to check it around. The turn is a 7, and now Vic bets.
I didn't know that I have to pay attention on this table.
Yes, you do.
Collection pot next
Here,
hand.
I
This
don't want
hand.
to make problems either.
Nobody said that was 2 of them was a chop.
Button is in seat 10.
Why would you say that earlier?
You guys, 2 of them with a chop. Chop it up and you send the money where you're going to send it.
And this is further reason why no more shopping for me. That's it. I'm not running it more than once. Not run it more than, that's it. I'll just put my money in with the best of it and just hope I hold on. The guy sucks out, he sucks out. Pocket deuces for Vic. But Mike is going to raise it up in seat 9 with king 8. Mike might play a little looser now that Jonas is out of the game.
Yep. So ace-jack suited here for seat 1.
Yeah, and we got a $1,000 pot now, 4
Here we go.
ways.
4-way action. Jack 5-5. Well, Bonnie's got top pair.
Yeah, top pair. This time she's got a real kicker. She's got the top pair, top kicker.
She bets 100.
100?
Wow, 100. 300. Excuse me, 300.
Okay, I was going to say. I mean, the pot's 1,000.
Let's see what Mike. Is Mike really going to get involved here?
I mean, for 100, I might call if I'm Mike just to see if I can hit my king. I
Right.
mean, I'm getting 10 to 1 on my money. I'm sorry, 11 to 1 on my money.
Yeah, he's not gonna do it.
So that's $300 bet. That's kind of small, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it gets the job done.
Well, how much we taking for over here?
And the button's gonna move over there to Bonnie. So it looks like we alleviated the problem there, Dave.
Yeah, I guess they gave Vic too much money there.
Yeah. Because basically, again, it was Vic only won 1/3 of the total pot.
Right.
So he really should have only won 1/3 of Bonnie's stack if she had him covered. Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you put
And that looks about right because she had about 5,000.
the reason it was confusing for everybody, it wasn't necessarily that The reason it was confusing is because Vic did win a little bit more than normally winning 1/3 because he actually chopped 2 of those pots.
Right.
So it was almost like he wanted to put the main pot into 6s, okay, and give Vic, say, I want to say,
So what's new?
let's see, 1/6. No, we'll forget it.
What are you talking about?
I'm over it.
Ace 8-5 here, Rainbow.
Well, you know, because I mean, it was like they chopped the first 2/3 instead of him actually winning the first 2/3 and her winning a third. I guess it works out the same. He wins 4 6s anyway.
Right.
So 2/3, right. Garble, garble, garble. More garbage out of Tuckman's mouth.
They're not your fault. I should
He
have.
gets 1/3 of your
Even if I get up,
and 2/3 of the big pot.
I can go that game. That game cannot break.
And the action checks
Turns
to
to 10.
Amir. And Amir's going to bet his 8 now.
Bets
And
500.
You imagine Vic is, well, Vic's open-ended here.
Let's see what he's going to do here with 6-7.
Yeah, the 9 is a little less attractive because the 9 comes, it is a one-liner to a straight.
But it looks like he makes the call.
Actually, no, it's not.
Yeah, not quite. Well,
No,
he's
it's not.
actually going to raise here, it looks like.
Wow.
He's going to raise with the draw. He's going to make the check raise. 900 more, and he's making a semi-bluff here.
I looked at you. That's what I did.
And
Wow,
Amir's-
and Amir's going to make the call.
Well, you wonder Vic's image is such that he's been bluffing a little too much tonight, and Amir's noticed that.
$3,000 pot. The river's a king. That's no help. How much he's going to bet here to get Amir off the 8? It's a $3,000 pot. Wow.
He obviously needed a 9 or a 4 to make a straight. Did not get there. So only got 7 high here. Obviously, that is not going to be the winning hand. He knows that.
Yep. It's a $3,000 pot here.
Is he going to just give up? Does he think he has to? He obviously knows he has to bet if he wants to win the pot, but he might just give up.
Well, he's got about maybe 5,000 behind him.
And Amir's probably got close to that as well, doesn't he?
Again, he's taking so long. Sometimes I think you pick up a tell when somebody's thinking about it so long, Dave.
Yeah.
Check.
He just gives up, Dave.
Yeah.
He's going to give up.
And I imagine Amir's not going to bet as well.
Well, you never know. He might not think his 8's good.
But the question is, can you get your opponent off of, say, well, maybe you can get your opponent off a 10.
2,000.
And he is going to bet.
Well, I think he thinks he needs to, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. And Vic instantly folds, and Amir takes it down. There you go.
The only thing you're wondering, though, remember now, Vic check raised the turn. Would he do that with just a 10?
Right. Probably not.
So, I mean, it's almost saying he probably has like 2 pair trips, or he's got a draw and he's making a move.
So what a great night we've had so far.
Oh yeah, Wednesday nights rock here at Live at the Bike.
Limped in here by Amir
Awesome.
with 9-10 of clubs. Corporation Mike's got ace, queen of diamonds. He's going to pop it up.
Yeah, he makes it 300.
Yep. 2 whites and 4 purples. And boy, he hasn't had a great night here, Mike, Dave.
No, Mike has not had a great night. The big winner actually is gone. That's Jonas.
Yep, hit and run. Jonas could, buy a cheap car for the last 2 weeks. How much he's won?
Yeah.
What does Amir want to call here with his suited connector?
What kind of cheap car? Like a Kia?
Amir is out of position with a suited connector, and Mike's not that deep, and I think it's an easy fold there with
Yeah.
9-10 of clubs. There you go.
Mike only had another $2,000.
Yep. I like that shirt, though.
Mike pulls it off, man. He
Yeah.
looks good in it, I got to tell you.
Yeah. He's got the watch going. I think he's got a ring on his right finger.
I mean, I'm not gay, but if I was gay, Mike looks pretty hot.
He'd be your type?
No, he wouldn't be, but he looks good tonight.
Who would be your type?
If I hypothetically was gay, I don't know.
Button moves over here to Vic Park and
No, it's
C3.
well to think about it.
Vic Park's got big, slick offsuit, ace king.
One of those hands could give you a bad beat.
Right now, my type is my wife.
I thought you were going to get there and do it.
That's a good answer.
Isn't it?
Limp here, and Vic is going to raise.
75.
275. George Georgian limped in with 4-5 offsuit.
If you're having a tough go of it, like Vic is tonight, do you ever just get up and leave and just say, you know what, it's not my night. My table image sucks tonight. I'm going home. And just come
Possibly.
back tomorrow. One thing great about these casinos, I mean, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Now, I was also playing with Christian, and he played uber tight in the 30-60 game.
Uber tight.
Yeah, he's
What does
German.
the Uber stand for?
I don't know.
Oh.
Very, I think. Overly, does it stand for? Oh, yeah. I thought it meant very.
Thank you.
Very.
But,
Big line there.
Button moves over to Christian. We haven't seen him play a hand yet.
Do you know what the origination of Uber is? Where's it from? No?
Sounds German to me, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Ace King here for seat number 1.
Bonnie there. She's going to raise it up.
Now, Amir is in the blind with Ace 9 of clubs.
I don't think he's going to call her heads up out of position, is he?
Well, he's dominated here.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Well, now, you got to see if an ace falls, is Amir going to get in trouble? Well,
9-4-5. Outflopped her.
yeah, he had 3 outs. He had clubs, obviously, and he hits
He
three
checks,
outer.
and she bets pretty big. She bets 500.
Oh, I
the
mean,
pot.
heads up with ace king.
Yeah.
You got to assume that you probably still the best hand. Imagine Amir's probably going to check raise this, right? The problem with this hand is, though, was Bonnie raising with ace king, ace queen, or was she raising with tens, jacks, queens, kings, or aces? Because you still can't beat those.
And Amir is going to, looks like he's going to check raise the minimum.
Yeah, now this is the question. Now, if Bonnie comes over the top, represents
And
aces or kings.
she instantly calls. But the thing is, if she hits her ace, Amir's got 2 pair.
Yeah.
Turns an 8.
Now, this is the thing, though. I mean, it's really tough for Amir to play this hand.
He checks, and she checks right behind her. And the river is a 10.
It's a heart now. Can Bonnie represent hearts?
Well, and Amir's going to come out and bet.
Wow, he's representing the hearts.
Wow.
Kind of a blocker bet, you think?
He's going to bet 1,200. Well, he bet 1,200 into a pot.
About 2,500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday, he said.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Anyway, we're here at Live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. Blinds are 25 and 50. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. You can catch tomorrow's show at 7 p.m. Probably have some sort of a smaller No Limit game. And then Friday, go back to our big game. It's a 10-20 No Limit game. Unrestricted buying game on Friday. We got a live straddle here from Mike in seat 9. Button is in seat 5. That's
Yeah,
Bert.
you can buy in for just as much in the Friday game as you can here.
Now, the question I'm going to ask you is, if you have ace 9 there and you hit a flop of 9, you hit top pair, are you going to lose all your money if she moves over the top representing a big pocket pair?
I got to tell you, I'd be scared when she called me. The thing is, she
Yeah.
hasn't shown down. I don't know if Amir was privy to it, but the only time she's shown down kind of some garbage was the Queen 8 hand.
Yeah.
She's kind of got a tight end.
And she did call a raise and a re-raise with Queen 8.
Four-way action here. Jack 5-9. I believe it was limped around. No, it looks like it was straddled. And look at this. Bonnie's going to come out and bet here with Queen 9. She's got middle pair. She's going to bet the pot, and she's going to take it down as Mike had straddled.
There you go, Bonnie. Nice play. Well played by Bonnie.
Well,
Live is good. What do you mean, live? Good.
Then did call.
Okay, you go.
Getting word that Mo has had a couple of beers.
No, you first.
He's getting a little loopy.
Whatever Mo wants.
Button is in seat 7 now. Once again, under the gun is Bonnie. She's first to act, and she's not going to play. Haven't heard much from George, and he lays the hand down, too. Action is over to Christian in seat 4. No play. Wow, and interesting here, seat 5, Bert's going to open limp in the cutoff seat.
yeah, he's
with
got
ace
ace
deuce.
deuce of spades.
Now, I don't mind playing ace deuce of spades in a no-limit game. Why not raise it up, though?
Well, Mike's got Queen 9, and he gets a free ride. Well, he hits top pair, Bert does.
Yeah,
Mike's got a 9. Let's see how he's going to play it. He checks to Bert. He bets 100. Mike's not getting involved. And you know what?
no, with second, well, he's got third pair with
Yeah.
a queen kicker, no redraw to it.
Well, some of you diehard fans of Live at the Bike might be able to tell me, because we can't do it right now on the fly, when that game was. It was a
The big hand Jonas first.
Yeah, it was a 25-50 Wednesday night whale game in between a Poker Blue game because Yosh was out of town. And we just, I do not know the date off my top of my head.
October 19th.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was October 19th. I might be off by a couple of days.
Buttons over
Or
here,
months.
seat 8.
I don't want everybody wearing the seat there. Okay. 20
And actually, if some people are really, really 2+2
Mike
savvy.
raises out of the small blind with nothing, and Bonnie lays it down.
Yep.
Takes down the blind there. Little steal there.
If people are really 2+2 savvy, they can actually go and look at Riverboat King's posts when he was bitching about Joker Gaming because he was trying to get into the archives and he'd already signed up, so he couldn't get access. So he went on a little bit of a tirade. The day after he bitched, the day before was the game.
I got
So
it.
there we
Okay,
go.
that makes sense.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
You know, and again, we talk about Mike's play. He would really be a very good, a very
Tournament
tough
player.
tournament
Yeah,
poker player.
absolutely.
Live straddle here from Vic.
When I won my first pot, I said I'd find
And he's got Jack 5 in the straddle spot. Mo is going to limp in with Ace 3 of hearts.
Yes, it.
Mike's going to limp in as well.
He was
I was going to raise and you slowed me down.
four.
Like this.
And we're going to see it 4 ways here. $400 pot to the flop, folks.
4 flares.
King.
King 8-8. Mo called for it.
Hey, send it, baby. Send it. Send it, baby. What are you doing? He says king. He says, look. Okay,
Oh, Mo is doing the Macarena. I don't know what he's doing. He's dancing. I'm not sure what's scarier, Mo dancing or like Mo doing karaoke.
And then another king comes out here. Mo is good with the ace, and he's going to bet now as it gets checked to him.
Yeah, he's in good shape here.
Give me that. Send it, baby.
And he is going to take it down. You know, somebody posted up here, Dave.
Hey.
22 Skidoo said, why are they saying that Vic only won 1/3 of the pot? He won 2/3 of it. Did we miscall that hand?
I have 8.
No, you were saying, no, he actually won 2/3 of the pot, but he only takes 1/3 of her money.
Jonah was in the hand, but he left, right?
Right.
That makes sense, because he actually takes all of his money back.
Right, right.
And he only takes 1/3. I mean, he takes 2/3 of the main pot and 1/3 of her money that is sitting in front of her.
Right. And that is how they did it. Pocket Jack's over here for seat 2.
Oh, my brain hurts, I tell you.
Gotta feed the babies.
Haven't heard much from George here. He's going to raise it up with Jacks, though, I bet.
He
Yep,
is.
and he does.
Makes it 300 to go. Pocket 7's over there for seat 7, Amir. He's heads up, but he's in position.
200 from Mike.
And this is the types of hands that you want to, play against George and maybe hope to bust him if he's got a high pocket pair.
Yeah, why not?
Make 'em sign.
Well, against anybody, really. In position with a pair?
Wow, George's got top set.
Yeah.
He's got it up.
You know what, though? It's not a terrible flop for Amir, though.
He's going to bet here at 300,
Yeah,
right
he
into
bets
the
about
top
half
set.
the pot.
And Amir's going to call.
I love it. I love the play by George, though.
Yeah.
Love
Here-
the play by
Here
George.
we go to the turn. Turn's a
Ah,
king.
that's a bad card for George. That makes Amir, if a deuce comes, a 3 comes, or a
Yeah.
7 comes, obviously, Amir's going to think his hand might still be good.
George is going to bet again.
Yeah, and that's probably going to end it there.
He's going to bet 700. Yeah, it would have been perfect for George to fill up there on the turn.
Yeah, exactly.
And Amir's going to get
with only
away.
one overcard, if you put George on ace king or ace queen, well, then
Yeah.
your 7s are still good.
Good job, Alan.
And he shows it. He shows the 3 jacks. He shows a lot down, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, and if you're an astute observer, and you're watching and you're paying attention to the game, you can really get a feel of how George is playing. Now, he might argue, and a lot of people could argue, hey, he's playing on Live at the Bike. Anybody can go back to the archives and check him out anyway.
Right. Button's going to move over here to seat 2. Ace deuce of hearts for the button. Going to limp in here.
Great night of poker tonight. We only got about 20 minutes left. It's nights like this that I wish we had a 6-hour webcast.
Now, Vic's got king 8 of hearts, so if hearts come, he's really screwed. Ace king 9. George's got top pair on the button.
Yeah, it's not really the flop he's looking for with ace deuce, but
And Vic's going to come out and bet 200 here with king 8. George is tight enough where he might not even get involved with this
yeah,
hand.
you know what I mean. Like I said, that's not the flop you want for ace deuce of
I'm
hearts.
gonna help you there. I
Um,
need only maybe.
And he shows the ace, and he folds,
yeah,
giving more information.
yeah. I like the fold actually. I don't mind the fold by George. Ace deuce of hearts. If you're limping in with ace deuce of hearts on the button, you're not looking at your ace. And if somebody bets into you, you're probably not good.
No, after at least 100 hours play there, they have to get it. Not the first.
No, obviously, it's not necessarily a bad fold.
No, not at all. I think it's.
I mean,
I actually
no.
think it's a good laydown.
Don't even want to get involved.
I mean, if you smooth call once, you certainly can't. I mean, God, there's a lot of ways to play the hand, but laying it down is probably the best way to play that hand.
Mike limped in here with king 4 suited. C2's going to come in the hand with ace 4.
I know. Can I buy 10 more?
We have about, maybe 10, 15 minutes left in the show. 3-way action, $150 pot. King 4, and ace 4. And look at that. Everybody misses. Queen
Yeah,
7,
not
8.
surprisingly, no 4 comes out.
Exciting, you know.
Turns a 3. And a club draw here for Bert now in seat 5. But it gets checked around, and the river's a jack. And George has the best hand with ace high.
Yeah, and
But Mike's going to bet 200. No one wants it. He's going to take it.
well, he might have backed into a straight here. I mean, he could have had 9-10, but you'd think that he probably would have betted at some point of being open-ended.
You raise yourself.
Yep.
What does that mean?
You know, funny about that queen hand, if you were deep, if there were ever a time to lay down trips, almost easily, I think that might have been the time.
Well, we've seen Yosh do it. I mean, in
Yeah.
previous whale games, we've seen Yosh had like queen 5, and the flop came out queen, queen, blank, and he laid it down without even thinking about it.
Oh, wow. Mo's got pocket aces. He's going to make it 150 to go. Mike calls seat 2's got ace king. Now, George usually just smooth calls with ace king.
Yeah, and I imagine he's probably going to do the same thing here.
Mike is called with 7-5 offsuit. And will George get into trouble here with the king if it comes?
Oh, well, the king flops. I'm sure George will get in trouble.
Bert has got 4-5. He's going to make the call.
And you
And
got
now
some-
Mo's only making it 3 times, this time with aces. So I said about a pattern before.
Wow.
We've got 5-way action, $750 pot to the flop. Jack, 8, 9. Doesn't look like it hit anybody big.
Big. I don't think anybody's even got a pair except for Mo. Yeah, nobody's even got a pair here.
Look at Mo. He's going to bet 200 here.
Yeah, nobody's got a pair. Nobody's got a straight. You know, it might be a little feeler out bet, too. I mean,
Right.
that's a scary board if somebody's got Jack 10, somebody has 8, 9.
And Amir's going to call with a gut shot to the 10. Here we go. Turns a 6.
I'm hoping that Amir's calling to make a play, though, because...
And
if
look
it-
at this. Mo checks the turn. The river's a deuce. I think Mo is really trying to keep that pot as small as possible.
It definitely is.
And now he's going to bet 325 here on the river as it gets checked to him.
Yeah, I think he knows he's good there, but
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. He was definitely, when he raised it to 150 and got called in 4 spots, he was like, oh,
That's
I
a
don't want
horrible flop.
Yeah.
You look at it. Ace, man.
I
He
just
shows it.
I don't quite understand why Amir called, though. I mean, you got to imagine he's got the gut shot, but if a 10 hits, is he going to make any money on that? And if he catches a queen, well, then it's a one-liner to a straight anyway.
And obviously Mo was prepared to call a good-sized bet on the river, but he checked the turn so that he didn't, build a ridiculously big pot with one pair on a heavily conducted board, right?
I mean, you kind of wonder, did he not bet the turn to avoid a possible check raise by Amir?
Right.
Maybe Amir was going to make a play at it. Who knows?
Straddle here by Mike. And we're going to see 4-way action here. George is in there with ace deuce of hearts again. So $400 pot. Here we go. 9-8-6 with 2 clubs. We've got 9-10 over there for Amir. It looks to be the best hand. Now, Mike's got 9-4. He also has top pair. Amir's going to come out and bet 300. Mike calls.
Yeah, and George with ace deuce of hearts there. Once again, not a good flop for ace deuce of hearts.
And is Mike going to get overly involved with his hand? Amir's in great shape here with the straight draw. And there's the straight.
And the pot is $1,000. I mean, Mike's got second pair. He's got no clubs. I mean, it's a one-liner to a straight.
Can he just keep calling with top pair here? He's going to bet 500.
I mean, to me, this is an easy laydown.
Or a raise, possibly? He's not that deep, though. That's the thing. And he just makes the call. So it's a $2,000
But you always say
pot.
pick your spots. I mean,
And the river's a third club.
and now he can't beat that either. I mean, now he can beat literally nothing.
And now Amir's going to bet
Wow,
again.
Amir's going to keep betting. I mean, he bets right into the possible flush.
And he's going to bet 900 into a $2,000 pot. And now Mike finally folds. You wonder if the 3 came, though, and it wasn't a club, if he would have paid him off again.
Well, you wonder. I mean, the only thing I was thinking there was maybe Mike is putting Amir on a club draw, and he thinks, okay, well, I'll keep calling and let this guy bluff off his money.
But now he got there on the river, right?
Well, once the club comes, you really can beat nothing. I was actually surprised Amir bet into it.
Yeah. Well, here we go with the chip count. Well, George started with 8,000. He's up about 3,000.
He's having a great night. He hasn't played many pots.
Mo's up a couple grand, I believe. Bonnie's down about a few thousand. Bert's down maybe 500 to 1,000. Christian hasn't played a hand. And Vic is probably a big loser so far because he's in for many rebuys, I think.
Yeah, well, Vic lost probably lost about 6,000. He did win that big pot off of Bonnie, so got a little bit back.
Limped around here. Mo does not even complete in the small blind.
Yeah, George is proof, though. You were saying, you don't have to play a lot of hands to be successful in No Limit Hold'em.
5-way action. Ace 4, 8, couple clubs. Bonnie's got a flush draw and a pair, and she's going to bet. She bets 300. Now, is Amir going to get involved with ace deuce offsuit? We saw George fold it before. He's got top pair. And he calls.
Yeah, against Bonnie.
Yeah.
Now, Bonnie's actually, I want to say, a favorite right now.
A little bit of a favorite with 2 cards to come. Well, the
Not
turn's
anymore.
an 8.
And now that's a terrible card for her, obviously, because the 5 is no longer good for her.
Right.
She needs a 4
400.
or a club.
She's going to bet 400 here on the turn. Like you said, 4 or a club.
Yeah, and that's not quite enough money, though. But now you got to wonder, though, what can Amir beat now? He can't beat if she was betting her 8. She now has trips. He can't beat an ace.
He calls, and the pot's now 2,200. To the river, it's a 6, no help.
Now, if she moves all in, and she's going to, I
Well,
think.
she's going to move 1,000 in here, Dave. 1,000 into a $2,200 pot. And you wonder if you're Amir, well, my kicker isn't really going to play here.
Well, it's not playing at all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got aces and 8s and a 6. What can he beat except a busted flush draw? Now, if you put specifically, Bonnie, on clubs here, you can call. Otherwise, you can't.
Again, $3,200 pot. It's 1,000 for Amir to call.
Now, I don't mind Amir laying it down. The only thing I don't understand is if he's going to call the turn, how did the 6 of hearts change anything?
Right.
I mean, his kicker already didn't play. I mean, what do you think? She backed into hearts?
So if he calls the turn, you think he should call here on the river?
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
You know, if you call her on the turn thinking your ace is good, well, the 6 didn't change anything.
And he folds it.
Yeah.
He folds it. Wow.
I mean, he called 300, he called 400, and then he doesn't call 700 there, 1,000, I mean.
Big props to Bonnie there for staying aggressive on all 3 streets, right?
Yeah, she fired 3 bolts and got it done.
Yep.
Now, Amir had the best hand, but the same way as George, he probably should have just laid it down right on the flop.
Well, I think, maybe Amir was going with that, he's kind of going with that theory. Well, if I just keep calling, is she going to continue to fire at me? And then you say, Dave, well, people are normally not going to fire with a mediocre hand on the river, so she either has a monster or she's bluffing. Might she bet, though, if her kicker played with a paired board?
Oh,
with
she's
an
got ace-king. Yeah, why not? Ace-queen, she might bet that.
Pocket aces for Bonnie now. She's on fire. And Bert limped in with ace-queen and diamonds. And she's going to raise to 300 out of the blind.
Yeah, and you wonder if Bert's going to get involved here. He's got a suited ace now, suited ace-queen.
Yep.
Champagne taste.
And I imagine Bert is probably going to call this. Pretty decent hand. Now, if it's not suited, it's a pretty easy laydown, ace-queen, but
And he does call.
suited, I think he's going to, he gets involved.
Heads up. Oh, and Mike's in there as well. So $900 pot.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Queen 10-7. Bert's got top pair. It's a $900 pot. Bonnie's going to bet. She bets 1,000.
Wow, and that kind of,
Boom.
isn't that kind of telling? With 4-5, she bets 300. Now
Yeah.
with aces, she bets 1,000. And this is the trap with ace-queen here. You either lose a big pot or you win a small one.
And she has been checking the flop when she's missed, if people have noticed. She's going to come out and bet 1,000 here on the flop.
And you got to go, oh, wait a second, I got ace-queen. What could she have?
You got to obviously be scared of kings or aces.
Exactly.
Oh, boy, and he's going to move all in. And he's sat around and played so tight the entire night, and he's going to walk home with ace-queen, unless
Yeah.
he gets lucky here.
Yeah, he's in bad shape here. He needs a queen
Yeah.
or running diamonds, folks.
And here we go to the turn. Turn is a 3. That's no
Just
help.
a queen.
Here we go to the river. River's a 3. Don't they call that the walking back to Houston?
No, that's ace-king.
Oh, it's ace-queen's the sucker hand.
Ace-queen is,
Yeah.
yeah, Doyle Brunson calls it. He hates it. He
Yeah.
just hates that hand. Ace-queen, it's just,
Yep.
I mean, it's one of those hands where, okay, I don't mind him calling a pre-flop raise with ace-queen of diamonds, but when she bets $1,000 into that,
Yeah.
remember, she hasn't really bluffed all night. At least we haven't seen a bluff. They haven't seen a bluff, okay?
And we're trying to get word of how much money that is on the table. I mean, we're talking about, if he had about $2,500 left on the flop,
That's a $6,000 pot.
that's a $6,000 pot. She's up for the night now. She's up for the night.
Just one hand, and suddenly she's a winner.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? If she's showing that much strength on the flop, I mean, can ace-queen beat anything?
This is going to be the last hand of the night, Dave.
Wow.
Well, again, you got to look at it and, like, he played so disciplined the entire night, and then you pick up a trap hand that looks so beautiful,
And he gets trapped.
and you get killed.
Yeah. It's tough, if you call a pre-flop raise with ace-queen, you hit top pair, top kicker, it's tough to get away from.
Now we're playing really short here, 6-handed, but this is going to be the last hand of the night.
Yeah.
So ace-jack offsuit here for Vic Park. Going to bring it in for a little raise.
175.
Make it 175 to go.
And he's under the gun. But it's a short game now. This is much different. Obviously, ace-jack's a premium hand when it's only six-handed.
Mike's got 3-5 offsuit on the button. He doesn't have much money. He's going to fold.
Yeah, I think this is actually going to get folded around, and Vic Park will take the last hands uncontested.
Well, George Georgian's got 3-4 offsuit. I don't think he's going to play.
No, he's not
out
going to
of
call.
position.
Not heads up, I don't think.
Well, no. Not good. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. As always, Dave.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. What a great night we had here.
Fabulous.
At Live at the Bike. Tomorrow night, we're probably going to be doing a form of restricted buy-in no limit. Not exactly sure what level yet. And, of course, you can join us on Friday for a 10-20 no limit game. Unrestricted. Just like this game, a little bit less money on the table.
Obviously.
So for everyone here in the booth, then for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
That's a pretty funny story. Win the pot.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.